Naruto God Level System, Chapter 661 to 680. Chapter 661 Ambush in Balagang. Your Majesty, as you expected, they really caught up. An Achukas said to Balagang. Humph, I deliberately show weakness to the enemy, just to let them catch up, and then ambush them, a group of stupid gods of death. Balagang snorted coldly. As for whether he was beaten and fled at the time, or whether he showed the enemy to be weak, only Balagang himself knows. You know, even if he was beaten and escaped, he couldn't say it directly, otherwise how would he face his subordinates? Fortunately, Jingle Chunchui took the god of death to catch up, otherwise Balagang would not know how to find a reason for his defeat. With His Majesty's wise and divine martial arts, those gods of death are His Majesty's opponents. Soon His Majesty will be able to conquer the Soul Realm and become the king of the three realms. Yachukas flattered. Balagang is very satisfied. What he likes most is this kind of flattering subordinates. Your Majesty, even if you showed your enemy to be weak before, the goddess of death is not weak, what should you do? Another Achukas said. His words made Balagang dissatisfied. This is exposing his scars. However, fighting power is still needed now, otherwise Balagang will be angry and execute this guy directly. Transfer Daxu Kiryan to me, and use False Flash 463 continuously. Even if Yamamoto Yuanluzai is coming, there is only one dead end. Balagang said lightly. This time, Balagang mobilized 3,000 Killian, and the Kili Security Department of the Great Void Forest captured it. Balagang did not believe that under the phantom flashes of 3,000 Killians, no one could resist. Your Majesty, they are not far from us, we need to prepare early. Yeah, I know, come with me, wipe out these gods of death, and then kill the world of corpses. Balagang said lightly. Kindle, do you feel something is wrong? Shuru Yukitaki was a little cautious, but he always felt that something was wrong. What's wrong? You're too nervous. Jingle Chunchui looked around, but there was no sign of trouble. No, it's definitely not right. It's too quiet, and I didn't even touch a single phantom. Shiro Yukitaki said solemnly. There are often small ghosts wandering in the virtual circle, but there is no movement at all, which seems a bit too weird. After being reminded by Shiruro Yukitaki, Jingle Chunchui also felt that something was wrong. Beijing Band Leader, according to the instrument detection, there is a large amount of spiritual pressure gathered underground, which is a virtual spiritual pressure. Kiryu Hikun became serious. The gathering of Reiatsu is unprecedentedly powerful, and this time they are likely to be ambushed. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect you to find out, but it's too late. Balagang came out and let out a loud laugh. You were beaten into a dead dog just now, and you are still so arrogant. You are the most shameless and skinless I have ever seen. Chen couldn't help saying. He is really resigned to Balagang. Chen's words made Balagang lose face, and said angrily, I just pretended to be defeated and escaped just to lure you into the bait. You won't think that I, the great Balagang, is really not your opponent. Yoha tilde, I really underestimated you, you're not so shameless. Chen looked at Balagang mockingly. Repeatedly attacked, Balagang was also angry, looking at Shang Chen with a murderous look on his face, but Balagang did not dare to shoot. It was this person before, who wiped out 1,000 Daxu Killian with a single trick. Although Killian was a cannon fodder, it could not be said that Killian was weak. And the one that was destroyed in pain, there were also 2 Achukas. Even if Balagang was exhausted, he couldn't do it. Therefore, this man is very dangerous. He should not go forward to find excitement. If he is defeated, it will be a complete defeat. I don't believe that you can survive under the virtual flash of 3,000 Kiryan. Balagang shouted loudly. Ahead of Kiryan, crawling out from the ground, looking at the densely packed large virtual Kiryan, Jingle Chunchui felt his scalp tingle. Even Jingle Chunchui felt his scalp numb, not to mention other people, looking at so many big voids, his face was full of fear. This is really big, half of the virtual circle, Killian, is probably on this road. Chen said as he looked at so many Killians. Chen stayed in the virtual circle for a few months and understood the situation of the virtual circle. Although Daxu Jillian was regarded as cannon fodder, the number was not encountered everywhere. Adding up the entire virtual circle, the number of Killian is also limited. Jingle Chunchui's face was gloomy. With so many Killians, it was impossible to imagine the terrifying destructive power they caused. Alas, I'm a little reckless, Jingle Chunchui sighed. Kiraku, now is not the time to blame yourself, think of a way to break out. Shiro Yukitaki said, looking at Daxu around him. There are so many big voids, I am afraid that only Yamamoto Motoyanagi, and then opening Bankai can deal with it. May not be strong for old man Yamamoto, but the ants killed the elephant, and more than 3,000 Killian attacked. If old man Yamamoto didn't open Bankai, he could only escape. Use Void Flash with me. Balagang roared and gave the order. When giving the order, Balagang used Wang Shu's flash towards Chen. Yo tilde. Balagang actually shot at me, I don't know whether to live or die. Futon, wind style, Rasenshuriken. Rasenshuriken and Wang Shu's flash collided, and then exploded with a bang. A huge hole of 100 meters appeared around, and the people who were affected were already dead. Damn it! Balagang saw that the attack had no effect, and then quickly retreated. Balagang cherished his life very much, and he still wanted to conquer the world of corpses and the world, but he didn't want to be killed easily. You go to me, aim at the man and the woman, use false strike for me, and be sure to deal with them. Balagan instructed Achukas, who was standing beside him. In Balagan's view, Chen and Yei are the most dangerous. As long as they are eliminated, it is possible to win. If you can't solve them, think about the terrifying ghost path released by Chen before, killing thousands of Kyrian with one move, and it is estimated that a big city can be turned into ruins with one move. Although the number of 3,000 Killian is a lot, it cannot be beaten like that. Don't back off in Balagang, come and fight with me again. Yi avoided the fictitious flashes one by one and rushed over there. Yi is really worrying. Chen looked at Yi's back and focused on her. Although Yi is very powerful now, he can also win against Balagang, but there are still 9 Achukas beside Balagang, and those 9 Achukas are not vegetarians. In a heads-up fight, Achukas will absolutely crush the vice-captain in general, and he has the power to fight the captain. Captain-level combat power, you may not be able to kill Achukas without using Bankai. So Yi rushed up. If Balagang shamelessly chose to besiege, Yi would not get any benefit. Chapter 662 Run Again. Damn, Fuju, don't go to rescue the team members for the time being. Go kill those Killians first, or you won't be able to rescue them at all. Jingle Chunchui shouted to Fuju Shuru. Shuru Yukitaki thought about it, and then nodded. In this state, he really couldn't save many members of the team. All the waves, turn into my shield. All the thunder, turn into my blade. Double, fish principle. Shikai Yukitaki, use the Zanpakuto on the left to absorb the virtual flash, and then release it with the Zanpakuto on the right to hit those Killians. Yukitaki Shuru is rare to have a pair of Zanpakuto, 1 sword when not Shikai, and 2 swords after Shikai. Moreover, he can defend as well as attack, making him a very powerful Zanpakuto. After Shikai not only has more abilities, but the spiritual pressure will also increase wildly and double. Aizen, who was fighting, glanced at Shikai of Yukitaki Shuru, analyzed Shikai's abilities, and took it to heart. Aizen, why are you stunned? Hirako Mako asked behind Aizen. Hearing Mako Hirako's voice, Aizen's face turned gloomy for a moment, his eyes flashed a bit, and then disappeared in an instant. For Aizen, Hirako Mako, who has been staring at him, is really annoying, and he must get a chance to play with him in the future. Tisk tisk tilde. The fight was really intense. Chen stood there with a look of nothing to do. Aren't you going to take action in such a dangerous situation? Asked Kiryu Hazun. Who said I didn't make a move? One of the cracks, Chong. Chen pointed, and a Killian was blasted by the shock wave. The corners of Yujo Kiryu's mouth twitched. This ghost path is really strong, and even using the weakest way, he can kill Killian. Chen pointed to the other side, and then killed another Killian, basically killing anyone who was hit. Don't be stunned, hurry up. Chen patted Kiryu Yushu, who was standing beside him. I'm not good at fighting, but my support ability is very good. Would you like me to assist you? Said Kiryu Hazun. Go help other people, I don't need someone who is holding me back. Chen rejected with disgust. Hibun Kiryu glared at Chen angrily, and then went to help others. Her auxiliary ability is indeed very good, and various research items have helped kill a lot of Kiryan. Chong, you protect the broken bees, I will help Yi Yi. Chen said to Chong. The night that he went to fight with Balagang, now under the siege of Balagang and Achukas, he didn't take any advantage at all. Destroy it. The Spear of Destruction. Zanpakuto on Tatsuya's waist turned into a long spear, and the long spear was wrapped in the aura of destruction. This gun can only be touched by Chen and Chong now, and if anyone else touches it, it will be destroyed by the aura of destruction. Use Shunpo to appear beside Yoichi, and then pierce an Achukas with a single shot, and the pierced Achukas is instantly wiped out. Seeing Chen kill an Achukas neatly, Balagang quickly backed away and looked at Chen vigilantly. That black long spear gave him a very dangerous aura, and his intuition told him that if he touched it, he would die. Indeed, even Vastord was not enough to be destroyed by the Spear of Destruction. He was hit for a while at most, and of course he only lasted for a while. Aizen saw Chen Shikai, the corner of his eyes kept looking at Chen, trying to analyze Chen Shikai's ability. Aizen frowned when she saw Tatsu stab an Achuka with one shot. Although Tatsu's Zanpakuto ability has not been analyzed yet, it is certain that this Zanpakuto Shikai is very dangerous. Chen's Shikai ability is destruction. Any object can be destroyed, even if he has super speed regeneration, he can't last for a while. This Shikai specially restrains those who restore the ability pervert, and the ability to restore pervert can only be turned into dust under Chen's shot. No, not even the dust will be left behind, very domineering. Chen also likes the appearance of this gun very much, but Chen is also a spearman. I don't know if there will be the curse of the lucky E of the spearman. Chen, if you don't help, I can also solve them. Yi Yi said. Cut tilde, don't talk too much. If I don't take action, you may not be able to hold on. Damn it. Balagang's heart was very gloomy, looking at Chen and said, seeing that you are so strong, how about we cooperate and become the king of the three realms together? Sorry, I don't care about what king, you dare to invite me. Chen killed 2 Achukas with one shot. Balagang was angry in his heart, but when he saw that Chen killed 2 Achukas casually, Balagan felt fear in his heart. Even if he is very confident in his own strength, Balagang can't kill 2 Achukas at will. Although Vastad is stronger than Yachukas, his strength is limited, and it takes a lot of effort to kill Yachukas. Pick me up. Seeing that Balagang dared to be dazed, Yi Yi punched him in the face unhappily, and Balagan's body flew out like a rocket. Fortunately, the virtual circle is mostly sand. If it is a hard ground, it will really feel better in Balagang. You wait for me, and I will come back with revenge one day. Balagang shouted, then turned and slipped away. After saying something cruel, Balagang turned around and fled. This guy is really trash. I actually let him run away again. Do you want to chase after him and kill him? Yi Yi said depressingly, looking at Balagang who was running away. Let him run. It's just a trash fish. If I want to kill him, I can just tell Harabel. Chen said flatly. Although Balagang is the king of the virtual circle, he is very powerful in the virtual circle, but in Chen's eyes, he is still a trash fish, just garbage. Alright then, take these Achukas to vent your anger. Yi Yi didn't chase after him, but looked at Achukas. The remaining Achukas glanced at each other, then fled to the distance. Even Balagang fled. What did they insist on doing? These 2 gods of death are so powerful, are they going to die if they stay? You guys also want to run, How can it be so easy? Yaiki used shunpo, his fists wrapped around armament hockey. Every punch was terrifyingly powerful. Let's run separately, or we won't be able to hide, an Achukas shouted. Hearing that the other Achukas separated, scattered and fled around, let's see who Yaiki's target is at this time. Whoever gets targeted is unlucky. Chen didn't make a move, he just made his move just to clear the siege for Yi. He was not interested in chasing and killing this group of trash. Yi was in high spirits, used shunpo to catch up, and then flew back, killing an Achukas with a few punches. Of the 9 Achukas, 3 were killed by Chen, the remaining 6 escaped and 2 were killed by Yi. Chapter 663 Clean up the big emptiness. Balagang fled, and the other Achukas also ran to the death. Without these Achukas, those Killians would all be in chaos. Seeing that all their companions were killed, they also began to flee in a hurry. Originally, they used the virtual flash to suppress the death god, but this escape, the suppressed death gods began to counterattack. Especially for the captain level Reaper, Killian is not strong, basically one kills one Killian. Chase them and continue to attack. Jingle Chunshui shouted with great joy. Originally, Jingle Chunshui was ready to die in battle, but unexpectedly, the situation suddenly reversed, and the change was too fast. Fortunately, it is changing for the better. It's such a pity that 2 of them ran away. Yi shook his head and said. It's just 2 wastes running away, what a pity. Chen said with his arms around Yi's shoulder. Yi looked at Chen who was hugging him, his face slightly yuhi, but Chen didn't pay attention, so he didn't see the yuhi rhyme on Yi's face. You too, the effect of pulling and pulling is not good. Chong stepped on small steps, walked over with great momentum, and then pulled Chen away sharply. Humph. After pulling Chen away, Chong snorted lightly at Yi, took Chen's arms with both hands, and swore his sovereignty. Yi's eyes narrowed slightly, and the 2 looked at each other, and the terrifying aura suddenly rose, and little Loli shivered at the sight. After we go back, let's fight, Yi said. Now Yi thinks her strength is enough, and prepares to let Chong know how powerful she is. Okay, that's exactly what I mean. Chong nodded, she was full of confidence in her own strength. Although Yi made rapid progress, it was still far behind her. What is good? Can't you give me some peace of mind? Chen said while holding down the heads of the 2 of them. Jingle Chunshui Yuguang saw Chen and the others, and he was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Big brother is fighting, can't you be more serious? Seeing the scattered emptiness, Jingle Chunshui ordered not to chase after him. Ordinary Reaper team members were not the opponents of Killian, and if they chased him again, an accident might happen. Because of Killian's few waves of false flashes, their casualties were also very large, and now they also need to rest. Chen, you are the vice captain of the 4th Division. You should be able to reply, right? Give the team members some treatment. Jingle Chunshui came over tiredly. In the battle just now, he was really tired, and the spiritual pressure was basically exhausted, which was why Jingle Chunshui did not allow him to continue chasing Killian. The healer should be paid, right? Chen asked Jingle Chunshui. I will apply to the captain for this, now you can treat it first. Jingle Chunshui said anxiously. Okay, don't forget my reward. Chen nodded, and then used Wei Dao to heal the injured team members. Chen's reply was learned from Ujawali, when he was bored. With the current situation in Balagang, it is impossible to do anything more, so should we return to the Soul Realm now? Chen asked Jingle Chunshui. No, we still need to clear up the emptiness, otherwise there will be too much emptiness in the world. Regularly cleaning up the big emptiness is also to maintain balance. Jingle Chunshui said. In addition to coming to the Void Circle to solve the matter of Balagang, it is to clear up the void. Every expedition to the Void Circle is to clear the Great Void and prevent the void from increasing in the world. If you want to quickly clear up the void, maybe you need to help Chen. Jingle Chunshui looked at Shang Chen. Chen's ghost way, Jingle Chunshui, had seen it, and Jingle Chunshui suspected that Chen's achievements in ghost ways had surpassed that of his teacher, Mr. Yamamoto. If Chen makes a move, he can also kill Shu quickly, so he can return to Saraiti earlier. The virtual circle is desolate and desolate. Although the spiritual seed is strong, it is a good place for cultivation, but Jingle Chunchui is also tired of watching it, and wants to go back early. Actually, those Kilian are very easy to deal with. I think it's up to you to deal with it. I'll return to the Jingling Palace first. Chen said to Jingle Chunchui. Don't, if you leave, what if the thieves in Balagang don't die and suddenly come back? Jingle Chunchui said quickly. Although Balagang was beaten twice and looked very embarrassed, it did not mean that Balagang was weak. Chen left and Yi may also follow. They all left. If Balagang suddenly comes back, who will deal with Balagang? Although Jingle Chunchui was among the most powerful death god captains, he was not sure of defeating Balagang. So Chen is gone, they are likely to be destroyed by the Balagang who came back, but Jingle Chunchui will not let Chen leave. Jingle Chunchui said that you can do nothing, but it is absolutely impossible to leave. Keeping Chen here is an absolute guarantee. Okay. Chen was eventually retained here by Jingle Chunchui. Chong, here it is. Chen put the barbecue into Chong's bowl. Chong shook her head, she prefers snacks to barbecue. Since you don't want to eat it, I'll have to eat it for you. Yi stretched out his chopsticks to pick up the barbecue in the bowl, but it was suddenly opened by the dome. Don't. Chong picked up the barbecue in the bowl and ate it. Even if he didn't like it, he would never give it to Yi. You guys are so laid back. It's not like me, you're really tired. Haikashun Kiryu came over, sat down and said weakly. The half-month encirclement and suppression of Shu made her very tired. Looking at Chen and the others, she felt very unbalanced. Masters like us only take action at critical times, naturally they are free. Yi said with a smile. Tilda, I met an Achukas today, and it was really tiring. It took a long time to get it done. Meet Yachukas. How lucky. Yachukas is not so easy to meet. Chen looked at Kiryu Hazun in surprise. When he first came here, it was difficult to meet Achukas, but it was really lucky that Kiryu Hibyun was able to meet him. What good? It's bad luck. Hazun Tong 0.1 Sheng looked at Chen speechlessly. What kind of good luck is this? Who wants to meet Achukas? However, Shu has already cleaned up almost, and it is estimated that I will return to Saranje in 2 days, so I will have some free time, and I will rest from tomorrow. Hibyun Kiryu said comfortably. But I don't understand why I'm a researcher, and I have to fight. It's really tiring. And you fighters, you can eat barbecue leisurely, it's unbalanced when you think about it. Hey, don't make a mistake, I am the vice captain of the 4th Division. The 4th Division is the medical team, and I am not in charge of the battle. Chenbai waved his hand and said. The 2nd Division is responsible for executions and assassinations, and this kind of frontal combat is not our business. Yi said with a smile. Yujo Kiryu looked at them and sighed helplessly, he was really suffering. Chapter 664 Koyatai Stark. Just when Chen and the others were eating barbecue leisurely, Jingle Chunchui and the others encountered a great enemy. The huge spiritual pressure made Jingle Chunchui feel suffocated. Who the hell are you? Is it a ghost or a god of death? Jingle Chunchui looked at the other side vigilantly. You don't need to ask, the aura on his body is definitely an empty aura, Yukataki Shuru said. What Jingle Chunchui and the others met was exactly Kiat Stark, the 10th blade in the original book, and the one who completed the face breaking on his own. Without the help of Bangyu, the broken face can be completed independently, and the strength of Stark can also be seen from this. At this time, Stark has not yet split into 2 individuals. At this time, he is considered to be him in his heyday. The knife in his hand, that is, the pack of wolves, is the future Lilinet. But it can also be seen that Lilinet was not separated when Stark broke his face. This is actually like this. It seems to have broken some kind of boundary. Urahara Kazuki said secretly, pinching his chin. At the same time, Aizen looked at Stark seriously, and Aizen looked at the broken-faced Stark. Aizen's eyes shone with this light, showing full interest. Get out of the way 22. Stark said indifferently as he looked at the group of death gods. Prepare to fight. Jingle Chunshui shouted loudly, no matter what the opponent's situation is, as long as it is empty, it is their enemy. The flowers are chaotic, the flower gods cry, the sky is chaotic, the demons sneer, the flowers are crazy. Jingle Chunshui immediately shikai, the already powerful spiritual pressure surged. But even so, compared with Stark's powerful spiritual pressure, it is still inferior to Stark. Because of Stark's powerful spiritual pressure, the existence of Zudu close to him is crushed to death, and his spiritual pressure is very terrifying. Brilliant! Jingle Chunshui jumped up and slashed towards Stark. Huaishan Quangu's ability is like a game, turning children's games into reality. As long as you step into the spiritual pressure range of Huaishan Quangu, you will be forced to participate in the game. All the rules are set by Huaishan Quangu. If you win, you can survive, if you lose, you must die, even Jingle Chunshui is no exception. However, the game is not completely fair. Since the knife wielder knows the rules of the game better than the enemy and has the right to change the game type at any time, the knife wielder has an advantage in the game. And the rule of the new ghost is that the taller wins. The position of our side is higher than the enemy, then the power of our slashing can be enhanced. Now that Jingle Chunshui jumped up, his position was higher than Stark, so his slash was naturally stronger. However, even if the slash was strengthened, his attack was still easily blocked by Stark, which was completely the difference in strength. This emptiness is very strong. Jingle Chunshui's eyes were extremely solemn. Chase him, pack of wolves. Stark's return blade is 2 guns, and after returning to the blade, Jingle Chunshui was swept away with only Reiatsu. Infinite reload phantom flash. Stark's dual spears fired 1,000 phantom flashes in an instant. Although the power is somewhat weakened, the quantity can also change qualitatively. Seeing this scene, Jingle Chunshui couldn't avoid it at all. He was hit by countless virtual flashes and flew out instantly. Kyogaku, Yukataki Shuru shouted, and then quickly used Shikai to defend against Stark's continuous phantom flashes with Pisces, and also reflected back. This virtual force is very strong, let's hurry up and help. Hirako Mako looked at Aizen and said. Fall down, reverse strokes. Hirako Mako's reverse stroke is also very powerful. After Shikai, the blade will release a fragrance, and those who smell the fragrance, up and down, left and right, front and back, the direction they see, and the direction of the slash are all reversed in their vision. Even if someone who has experienced 100 battles suddenly comes like this, it will greatly limit their combat effectiveness. Although it is not a direct attack type of Zanpakuto, it can greatly assist in combat. Hirako Mako used Shunpo to slash at Stark's body, making a sound of steel colliding. What? Can't break the defense. Hirako Mako was shocked. Although the reverse stroke is very strong, Stark's steel skin is also very hard. Hirako Mako's attack Stark did not block, but even if he hit it, it had no effect. Damn it. Hirako Mako immediately stepped back, his face very ugly. Hirako Mako's Shikai is strong, but his current strength is not at home, and he is completely incapable of breaking Stark's steel defense. I'm here to entangle him. You quickly bring the leader of the Jing Band to Captain Chen, and let him treat the leader of the Jing Band. Shiro Yukataki shouted solemnly. Aizen glanced at Stark. He was sure that he could defeat Stark, but Aizen didn't want to reveal his strength. He is only a small third seat now, and it would be too strange to defeat the Shu who killed Jingle Chunshui in seconds. If his performance is too strong, it will definitely arouse suspicion, and someone will even investigate him. Very powerful Reiatsu. Chen, who was roasting meat at the camp in the distance, looked at the place where the battle was taking place. Although this Reiatsu couldn't be compared with him, it was already very powerful, and it wasn't weaker than the current Harabel. After a while, the 2 Death God team members came to the camp and carried Jingle Chunshui. At this time, Jingle Chunshui had passed out and was very miserable. Captain Chen, Hurry up and save the leader of the Jing band. This is Jingle Chunchui, who was beaten. He was beaten so badly. Chen looked at Jingle Chunchui and almost didn't recognize him. I was caught off guard by dozens of phantom flashes, and now it's good that I didn't die. Fortunately, there are a lot of phantom flashes in the infinite reload, and the power is not very strong. Otherwise, Jingle Chunchui may be twisted. Leave it to me. My answer is unmatched. As long as there is still one breath, I can save him. Chen Bai waved his hand and said. Under Chen's Huadao treatment, Jingle Chunchui's injuries quickly recovered, and he opened his eyes and looked around. Ah, am I still alive? Jingle Chunchui touched his face. The moment he was hit, he thought he was going to die. In fact, if it hadn't been for Shikai, who used Pisces to help him block the rest of the attack, Jingle Chunchui would really have had a braid. If there is no Chen, it is estimated that Jingle Chunchui will also have a braid, and it is his fate that Jingle Chunchui can survive. Master Jing, who made you look like this? Could it be that Balagang is back? Yi Yi asked curiously. It's not Balagang, it's a middle-aged man. I thought he was the god of death at first, but he exuded an air of emptiness. Is it a broken face? Yi Yi looked at Shang Chen with surprise on his face. Broken face. Jingle Chunchui looked at Yi Yi suspiciously. She seemed to know something. Breaking the face can also be done independently, breaking the limitations of the virtual and the god of death. It is the god of death of the virtual. Chen said. It turns out that this is the case, and it is still possible to break the restrictions. Jingle Chunchui nodded, but Jingle Chunchui was very strange. How on earth did Chen know this? Chapter 665 To explain is to hide. Captain Chen, Captain Yi, let's rush over to support Fuju. I'm afraid he won't be able to hold on. Jingle Chunchui said quickly. How did Chen know about Pomian? Jingle Chunchui didn't have time to ask more, and now the most important thing is to support Fuju. Jingle Chunchui and Yukataki Shuru is a good friend. He knows the physical condition of Yukataki Shuru, and his body is very weak by nature. If there is a high-intensity battle, Yukataki Shuru will definitely not be able to hold on, and Jingle Chunchui does not want to lose his friend Yukataki Shuru. Let's go. I also want to see this autonomous face breaking. Chen was interested, and there seemed to be only two people who could make autonomous face breaking. One is the 10th blade Koyatai Stark, and the other is the 40th blade Ulquiorra Cipher. However, looking at Jingle Chunchui's injury, coupled with Jingle Chunchui's description, Chen has already determined that the other party is Koyatai Stark. Soon after arriving at the battle site, Shuru Yukataki was already half kneeling on the ground, panting. Shuru Yukataki is not weak, and his Shikai is also very powerful, just to restrain Stark, but his body can't keep up. The frail and sickly Shiruro Yukataki has been able to persevere well up to now. Yukataki, are you alright? Jingle Chunchui ran over nervously and helped Yukataki Shuru. I'm fine, but I'm relieved to see that you're fine. Shiro Yukataki looked at Jingle Chunchui with a gentle smile on his face. Why do I think they are so strange? Yi Yi looked at the two of them, feeling very awkward. Because the two of them are gay. Chong said sharply. PFF'd. Chong's words made Haikashu Kiryu couldn't help laughing out loud, but considering that Jingle Chunchui and Yukataki Shuru is often together, it is really possible that they are gay. Hazun Kiryu looked strangely at the pair of basic friends. Couldn't it be true? However, this pair of basic friends has some hot eyes. Shuru Yukataki is a beautiful man, while Jingle Chunchui is an uncle. You two don't look at each other affectionately. Although I don't discriminate against you, it's really annoying. Chen couldn't help interrupting them. When Jingle Chunchui and Yukataki Shiruro heard their words, they were embarrassed and didn't know what to do. What nonsense are you talking about? We are just friends, do you understand? Jingle Chunchui Yuhi roared. I understand, explanation is cover up is fact. Chen gave him a calm look. I didn't expect the two captains to be so good at this, really, he tilde. Hiriko Mako couldn't help but let out a weird laugh. Stark saw that they were all ignoring him, turned and walked away. Hey, I just came here, why are you in such a hurry to leave? Chen called out to Stark. Stark stopped, turned his head to look at Chen indifferently, and said lightly, don't ask for trouble. Oh Tilda, I really want to make trouble, what can you do? Chen walked over with a smile on his face. Infinite reload phantom flash. Stark raised his spear to aim at Chen, and fired a large number of them, and the speed was as fast as a virtual flash of a virtual bullet. In the past, Jingle Chunchui was killed by this unexpected move, almost killing Jingle Chunchui. Bound Road 81, breaking the space. A defensive wall stood in front of him, allowing Stark to attack, but he could not shake this defensive wall and easily block any attack. Just abandoning the chanting Duankong, he has such a strong defense, I think he is suitable to become a big ghost priest. Jingle Chunchui said. Stark's face became solemn, and there were not many who could block his infinite reloading phantom. The previous god of death who used 2 knives was one, and now there is another. What do you want? Stark stopped the useless phantom flash. Reloading the phantom flash infinitely was very expensive, and he didn't want to use it all the time. It's nothing, I'm just itchy, I want to see how strong you are. Chen pulled out his knife and said. When Stark was about to speak, he found that Chen in front of him had disappeared, and his eyes immediately became serious. Where are you looking now? Chen appeared behind him and asked lightly. Stark's pupils shrank suddenly, and then he felt a pain behind him, and his body fell to the ground. The scar on his back was wrapped in black aura, and even super speed regeneration couldn't heal him. Zanpakuto, even without Shikai turning into a gun of destruction, is still entwined with the power of destruction. Although it has been weakened a lot compared to the state of the destruction lance, it still makes Stark's wounds unable to heal. This scar, maybe Stark can't heal in his life, maybe Inoue Oriheim can help him heal. After all, Inoue Oriheim's ability is a bit pervert. If Inoue Oriheim's ability is placed on the strong, it is simply unimaginably powerful. I cut this guy down with 1 knife. Vice Captain Chen is really good. Staying in the 4th team is a complete waste of your own strength. Aizen, I heard that you and Vice Captain Chen are classmates. Hiriko Mako looked to Blue Dye. Lan Ran adjusted her glasses, with a hexy smile on her face. Yes, Chen and I were neighbors back then, but my strength can't be compared to Chen. Lan Ran said with a smile. Really? A few days ago, I saw that you killed Kirian very easily, and you have the ability to be the vice captain. Hiriko Mako said with a sly smile. Your name is Koyatai Stark, right? How do you say it? I'm very disappointed with your strength. Chen retracted Zanpakuto and said lightly. Stark frowned, but he didn't report his name. How did the other party know? There are not many people in the entire virtual circle who know his name. He is a lone ranger. It is very strange that this god of death knows his name. Chen, don't talk nonsense with him, kill him quickly. Jingle Chunchui said. No, let's kill you. I'm not interested. Chen turned and left. Stark looked at Chen suspiciously. Why didn't the other party kill him? Although this Stark is very strange, it is good not to kill him. Although he felt that his life had no meaning at all, Stark didn't want to die in a senseless way, and kept using the ring to leave. Seeing Stark disappear, Jingle Chunchui frowned, looked at Shang Chen in a puzzled way and asked, why should I let him go? He is likely to become the enemy of the Soul Society in the future. There is no reason for this. There are so many reasons in life. Let it go if you want. Chen Tan spread his hands. He is so strong now, and he will definitely be stronger in the future, so he was let go by you. Jingle Chunchui was a little angry, but he had just been treated to save himself, and Jingle Chunchui couldn't say anything more. No, he may become weaker and weaker in the future, Chen said. Now should be the time when Stark is the strongest. After he splits Lilinet, his strength will be weakened. Besides, Stark's character really can't cause any trouble in the future, at least it can't cause any trouble to Chen. Chapter 666 Return to Saraiti. Of Kyatai Stark was just an episode. After Kyatai Stark left, everything went very smoothly. Jingle Chunchui brought a group of death gods to the Forest of Void, going to the virtual world in the world. Basically all of them came from the Forest of Void. This is the lair of Void. I think it's almost the end. I can finally leave this place. I won't do such a tiring job in the future. Jingle Chunchui sighed. That's why the teacher trusts you, so I asked you to be the commander. Shiro Yukitaki said with a smile. Trust? I'd rather not need this trust. Jingle Chunchui said with a wry smile. This is a chore, definitely a chore that old man Yamamoto found for him because he saw that he was too leisurely. Your mentality is not right. Look at Captain Chen and Captain Yei, aren't they quite relaxed? Shiro Yukitaki looked towards Chen and said with a smile. What do you mean my mentality is wrong? They don't do things, of course they are leisurely. Jingle Chunchui said rather resentfully. Basically, it was him and Shuru who contributed, and Chen and the others stayed in the camp all day, otherwise Jingle Chunchui would not have been so tired. But without them, Balagan might have wiped them out, and 593 couldn't say it didn't do anything. Chong, why do I see you eat so much every day, yet you are still so thin? Hikun Kiryu asked curiously while looking at Chong. Because all she eats is junk food, it's not nutritious. Chen said while eating senbei. Long-winded, Chong gently kicked Chen. Let's go back. Huh, Chen looked at Chong with a question on his face. It's too desolate here, I'm tired of it. Chong said as he tugged at Chen's sleeve. I'm tired too. Yi was lying on the ground, quite bored. It's okay anyway, so I'll tell Jingle Chunchui, we leave the virtual circle and return to Jinglingting, just miss Bachinliu. Chen nodded and said. In the desolate place of the virtual circle, Chen also is not used to it. Really, do you miss Bachinliu or Maojawali? Chong glanced at Chen and asked. Speaking of which, Captain Unohana, was her previous name Unohana Yakiryu? Let's take a look at 8 trigrams. I wonder if Yakiryu is the daughter of the two of you. Kiryu Hazun asked curiously. Watch. Chong stared at him sharply, his eyes were very lethal. Chen stood up, held Chong's head, rubbed her hair vigorously, and then walked towards Jingle Chunchui not far away. Chong shook his head, swayed his ponytails, then reached out to smooth his hair, and said softly, how annoying. Is it really annoying? Why do I feel that Xiao Chong just enjoyed it? Hikun Kiryu leaned in front of Chong and said jokingly. Chong stared at her chest and said, you hate it even more. I understand why you hate me, Chong, after all, I'm also very distressed. Oh hey Tilda, Hibun Kiryu let out a strange laugh. I also feel that you are particularly annoying. Yi took a sip of tea and glanced at Kiryu Hazun rather jealously. Only the little lowly broken bee did not speak, sitting there eating quietly, like a little hamster. What, are you going to return to Jinglingting early? Jingle Chunchui couldn't help jumping up after hearing Chen's request. What, is there any problem? Can't you figure out what you connected? If that's the case, I doubt your ability very much. Chen said with his arms crossed. Jingle Chunchui thought about it. There is really nothing particularly important here. As long as Balagang doesn't come out to do things, he can definitely solve it. After all, he is also an outstanding disciple of old man Yamamoto. If he can't even do this little thing well, then not only does he lose face, but old man Yamamoto also has no light on his face. Okay, anyway, we'll be back in 2 days, so it's fine for you to leave first. Jingle Chunchui nodded in agreement. Goodbye then, I wish you all the best of luck, don't run into Vastord or anything else, or if you get killed, I don't think I'll feel guilty. Chen patted Jingle Chunchui on the shoulder. What are you talking about? Can't you say something nice? How could Wastrad come across so easily? Jingle Chunchui said speechlessly. This is not necessarily true. Didn't you encounter a bad face before? You were beaten and killed, and anything would happen. Chen turned and left. Hey, after what you said, I feel like I dare not let you leave. Jingle Chunshui shouted loudly. Chenhua waved his hand and said to Yi Yi and the others, let's go. Go back to Jingling Court. I want to go back. I want to be with you too. Hikun Kiryu said. There is nothing to do with Kiryu Hazun here, and she has no problem going back with her. Can't you go back by yourself? Why do you have to go back with us? Yi Yi said, casting a glance at Kiryu Hazun. Of course it's because I want to stay with this handsome young fellow Chen for a while longer. Hazun Kiryu said, wrapping his arms around Chen's neck. Hey, when did you two become so familiar with each other? Yi asked Kiryu, pulling the boat away. Don't we know each other very well? Hibun Kiryu scratched his head and said. Okay, let's go back to Seo Lingting. Chen opened a door of space and walked in. Directly open the door of space, how is this done? Hibun Kiryu blinked, with inquiry in his eyes. If you don't go in, just stay in the virtual circle and go back by yourself. Yi Yi said and walked in. Chong and Broken Bee also followed, and Yujo Kiryu saw that they were all in, so he didn't talk nonsense anymore. He walked in quickly. If he was left in the virtual circle, it would be troublesome to go back. The moment he stepped through the door, he returned to Saraiti. I've finally returned to Saranje, and it still looks comfortable here. Yi Yi breathed in the air here. This is the team building of the 4th Division. Come here directly through space. Chen, I am more and more curious about you. Hazun Kiryu said. Oh, is Hikafuna Kiryu curious about our vice captain? Karu Uno's voice came over. Dad, I miss you so much. Ba Chinliu threw himself into Chen's arms in an instant, and after kissing Chen's face, there was a smile on his face. Yeah, is she the new mother you found for me? Don't you want your mother Unoka? Yakiryu said looking at Kiryu Hazun. Hibun Kiryu heard that Bachienryu called Ujawali's mother, and felt that he was the truth. It was very likely that Bachienryu was the daughter of the two of them. But I don't know why, but there is always an inexplicable discomfort in my heart. How is this going? Bachinliu, don't yell, okay. Yi Yi squeezed Bachinliu's cheek and lifted her up. Bachinliu broke free from Yi Yi's hand, looked at Yi Yi angrily, ran in front of Broken Bee, and went to play with Broken Bee. Chapter 667 Help Shikai Shikai. How is it? Is it going well? Ujawali looked at Chen and asked. It's okay. Lai, you feel like a wife waiting for her husband to come home. Chen teased. Anahaka Lai's face slightly yuhi, then a gentle smile appeared on her face, and the whole person revealed the image of Yamato Nadeko. Chen. Chong dragged Chen's clothes. Chen turned his head and looked at Chong in doubt. I don't know why. I want to beat you suddenly. Are you willing to let me beat you? Chong Mian stared at Chen expressionlessly. The ghost is willing to be beaten by you. I think you want to be beaten by me. Chen Tukao. Hey Tilda. Actually, I don't mind either. If Chen has a tendency to tremble, I will also fulfill your wish. Chong said in a low voice. I didn't expect it. Chen, you're still such a pervert. Yi Duchen showed a look of contempt. Chen's mouth twitched. I haven't said anything yet. Looking at Chong's eyes, Chen seemed to see the smile in Chong's eyes. This little girl definitely did it on purpose. At noon, in order to welcome Chen back, Uno Hanariot prepared a large table of dishes. Lai, how did your cooking skills become so good? Chen looked at Lai and asked. Because my mother practiced a lot. Yachinliu, who eats well like a hamster, said with his hands up. Yi Yi came to Maojawali and asked softly, did you give Bachinliu some kind of ecstasy soup? It feels like her senses of you are getting better and better, and she really treats you as a mother. Ujawali smiled and said, guess what? Yi Yi pouted and glanced at Ujawali full of fighting spirit. I will never lose to you, just wait. Oh, Yoichi seems to have inexplicably fired up his fighting spirit. Hekafuna Kiryu, who was eating sushi, said with a smile. Shut up. Sushi can't keep your mouth shut. After the meal, Hibun Kiryu said goodbye and left, and stayed here at night, drinking tea without any image on the chair. Just finished eating, Chong was still eating her snacks all the time, and Broken Bee came to Chen's side looking forward to it. Looking at little Loli's expectant eyes, Chen also knew what she wanted, nothing more than to guide her to practice. In the aspect of Reiatsu, I can't teach you, but I can teach you slashing and taijutsu. If you want Shikai Zanpakudo, I can also help you. Chen touched the small head of the bee and said. If Shattered Bee wants to complete Shikai, Chen can really help her. Just call Zanpakudo's real name and she can complete Shikai, and Shaken Bee's Shikai. Chen knows Akatsuki of course. Help me complete Shikai. Can others help me with this? Broken Bee looked at Chen in confusion. Of course, as long as you know the real name of Akatsuki's opponent Zanpakudo, you can help them complete Shikai or Bankai. Chen said softly. But you know my Shikai. Broken Bee looked at Chen strangely, even she didn't know what her Shikai was, how could Chen know? There's a guy in Division 0 called Ikibe, the head of the army, and he already knew the real names of all Akatsuki's shallow fights when Zanpakudo's shallow fights were made. Know Zanpakudo's real name, he also knows all Zanpakudo abilities, except Tatsu's Zanpakudo. Because Chen's shallow play was obtained from a lottery in the system, and it was not created by Wang Yu, the second house of the God of Swords. Chen, why are you so clear? Mao Zhawali asked curiously. Also knows the main soldier Ikibe, but he really doesn't know that he can know the real names of all Akatsuki gods of death, Zanpakudo. It's not important, the important thing is that I know your Shikai and Bankai, Chen said with a wave of his hand. Then what is my Shikai? Broken Bee asked curiously, with excitement on his face. This one, I won't tell you. Huh, Broken Bee was stunned. Dad, can you tell Xiaofeng? Ba Qianlu came over, grabbed Chen's arm and shook it vigorously. Broken Bee looked at Chen pitifully. Okay, your Zanpakudo's name is Sparrow Bee, and the liberation language is to sting and kill all enemies, Sparrow Bee. Chen didn't tease Broby anymore, and told her directly. Broken Bee glanced at Chen suspiciously, looking at Broken Bee's disbelief. Chen really wanted to beat her up, so I kindly tell you that you actually thought I was lying to you. But it is also normal, not only Broby is suspicious. For example, Yi Yi, who is sitting next to him drinking tea, reveals that he does not believe at all. From Yi Yi's point of view, it must be Chen, the bad guy, who is fooling the innocent little bee. The Broken Bee pulled out its Zanpakudo and shouted, sting and kill all the enemies, Sparrow Bee. Zanpakudo suddenly turned into a small blade attached to his fingertips, and the Reiatsu on Shubi also greatly increased. Spurted out, and she actually finished Shikai. Did her eyes see it wrong? Even Broken Bee was confused, didn't expect Shikai to be done like this. Is this too simple? What about Bankai? Broken Bee asked Chen excitedly. I didn't expect you little girl to be greedy enough to think about Bankai, even if I tell you, are you really capable of Bankai? Chen knocked on the head of the bee and said. Even Shikai can't last long now, let alone Bankai. Little bee, your Zanpakudo is a little weak. It's so small. Bachinliu came over and gestured. Point 0. Yakiryu's view, Zanpakudo, who is so small, would definitely not be strong, so he looked at Broken Bee with sympathy. In fact, the size of Zanpakudo does not determine the combat power, and Yakion Ryu is completely a child's opinion. The Broken Bee is a bird bee, but it is not weak. The part that the bird bee hits reflects the black butterfly pattern, which is the bee pattern. As long as the bee pattern is left, hit the center point of the bee pattern again, and the bee pattern will appear overlapping, and the person in the middle will die. To put it simply, it is a two-hit kill. If a point is hit twice at the same time, it will die. This is not weak. People who basically don't know their abilities can hardly escape beheading. However, the bee has high requirements on the user. The weak holding this Zanpakudo is waste, but if it falls into the hands of the fast person, it will be too strong. If it is in Chen's hands, anyone can kill him in seconds. However, this Zanpakudo is very suitable for Broken Bee. She is small, and she was originally a Grandmaster Shunpo under the guidance of Yaiki. Broken Bee will definitely join the 2nd Division in the future. The 2nd Division specializes in covert assassination missions, so Sparrow Bee is very suitable for Broken Bee. Even her Benkai Sparrow Whip is not as easy to use as Sparrow, mainly because compared to Sparrow, Sparrow Whip is too big and too heavy. Broken Bee lifted Shikai and was very excited while holding the knife. Ordinary officers can't even Shikai, but she can Shikai now, and Brobee's excitement is indescribable. Chapter 668 Make Me Captain of the 11th Division. Why are you looking at me so surprised? Chen Jianye kept staring at him, feeling a little awkward. How did you know Shikai of Broken Bee? I'm really weird. Yi finally couldn't help but ask the doubts in his heart. Well, it's simple, of course, but it's a secret. Why should I tell you? Damn it. Yi was very angry, turned into a black cat and jumped on Chen's body, grabbing towards Chen with both claws. Chen picked up the black cat that Yi transformed into with one hand. Why did you turn into a cat, Yi? This is the first time I've seen you turn into a black cat. Chen poked at the black cat. Don't poke randomly, it's a secret technique of our family. Yi opened Chen's hand with his claws. Wow, I didn't expect Yi to turn into a black cat. It's really cute. Ba Qinliu hugged Yi in his arms. Let's go, kitty. Ya Qinliu hugged Yi and left. In the evening, Yi Yikai ran back with an embarrassed expression. I knew that in the future I would never become a cat again, and I was about to be tossed to death by Ba Qinliu. It's okay to toss to death. I will bury you with my own hands. Chen said with a smile. Go to hell, the ghost wants you to bury me. Yi angrily asked for it towards Chen, but he threw himself in the air and planted his head on the ground. Deserved. Chong made a stab at Yi, who fell to the ground. Chong, do you want to fight? Let's try. Yi glared at Chong and said after getting up. No, I don't want to fight with idiots. I will become stupid. I don't want to be an idiot like you. Chong shook his head and said. The relationship between Master Yi and Chong is really bad, said Broken Bee, who came to rest after training. No, they have a good relationship. Although they have a bad relationship on the surface, in fact. Their relationship is also very bad. Chen said that he couldn't make it up. A few days later, Jingle Chunchui and the others had returned, and the old man Yamamoto convened a meeting again. All the captains and vice-captains participated. Of course, some people who died would definitely not be able to participate, such as Muchung Kenpachi who sacrificed this time. When I came to the first team, Chen looked at the team building of the first team and felt very uncomfortable. The entire team building was engraved with an old-fashioned atmosphere, exactly the same as the old man Yamamoto, and it was indeed the territory of the old man Yamamoto. Beijing band leader, I'm so happy to see you come back alive. Chen said to Jingle Chunchui. Jingle Chunchui looked at Chen speechlessly. Did you decide before that I would definitely die in the virtual circle? It's all here. Then report the situation, said the old man Yamamoto, opening his eyes. The general situation of this conquest of the virtual circle, old man Yamamoto has already understood, but what is the specific, old man Yamamoto really does not know. Jingle Chunchui took out a form and handed it to the old man Yamamoto, saying that he could not explain a sentence or two. Let the old man Yamamoto read it himself. The old man Yamamoto held the form, and when he saw the number of sacrifices, his brows furrowed sharply, actually hurting so many gods of death. Captain Jing, can you tell me what's going on? The old man Yamamoto looked worried. The virtual circle is a virtual territory. We were caught off guard by Balagang, so the loss was huge, and we were ambushed again later, so the loss was huge. This is my fault. How did Captain Mole City die? The old man Yamamoto asked again. I'm not very clear, but when Vice Captain Chen is there, you can ask Vice Captain Chen. Jingle Chunchui shook his head and said. After Yamamoto Yuanliu Saijokuni heard this, he looked at Chen with a question in his eyes. That's it for those who were besieged and killed by a group of ghosts. Chen said succinctly. The old man Yamamoto glanced at Chen, and then he didn't ask any further questions. After a long silence, he suddenly said, "Since the captain of the 11th team, Muchung Kenpachi, died in the battle, then the captain must be reselected. Do you have any suggestions?" After the old man Yamamoto finished his question, no one spoke. Jingle Chunshui and the others knew about the old man Yamamoto. Knowing that he asked this question, most of them had a choice in their hearts. So at this time, old man Yamamoto can say it himself. If they really recommend someone, they may make old man Yamamoto dissatisfied. Seeing that everyone didn't speak, the old man Yamamoto continued, "I recommend Hyuga-chen, the vice-captain of the 4th Division, to become the captain of the 11th Division. Do you have any opinions?" The old man Yamamoto wanted to get Chen to the 11th team a long time ago. With such a strong combat power, he would never go to the 11th Division to fight, but to go to the 4th Division to paddle. This old man Yamamoto would never allow it. "I have no opinion," Jingle Chunshui said. If it wasn't for Chen's treatment in the virtual circle, he might have his braids up, so Jingle Chunshui would definitely not stop Chen's promotion. "I have an opinion," two voices suddenly remembered. Voice came from Deadwood Silverling. He and Chen had a lot of conflict, and he definitely didn't want Chen to be the captain. Another voice was Chen himself. He didn't want to go to the 11th Division. There were many girls in the 4th Division, and the 11th Division was basically a rough guy, so Chen didn't want to go. There is another reason, that is, the 111th team is relatively sloppy. Once Mao Zhawali was the captain of the 11th team, it was fine, but now the 11th team is very sloppy. The old man Yamamoto frowned and looked at Chen and Kuchiki Silverling in displeasure. What he hated most was that others opposed his decision. "Then let's vote," said the old man Yamamoto with a cold face. When Chen heard the vote, he pulled Lamao Zihualai directly, and gave Yaiki, Hikun Kiryu, Jingle Chunsui, and Yukataki Shuru. Jingle Chunsui received Chen's eyes and knew that he didn't want to be the captain, so he didn't find it boring to vote for him. In the end, there were only 3 votes in favor, and the rest either abstained or opposed. The old man Yamamoto's face was ashen, and he glared at Jingle Chunsui and Yukataki Shuru. 0.8 for Mao Zhawali and the others to oppose it. These 2 good disciples actually followed suit. Jingle Chunsui lowered his head, and Shiro Yukataki, like Jingle Chunsui, lowered his head and did not speak. Since that's the case, let the vice-captain of the 11th team be the captain of the 11th team. You should have no opinion, right? The old man Yamamoto looked at the vice-captain of the 11th team with deterrent eyes. Of course, the vice-captain of the 11th team had no objection, and he looked surprised. Didn't expect him to have the opportunity to become the vice-captain of the 11th team. In the history of the 11th Division, it is estimated that he is the only one who is the most special. He was promoted to captain through the vice-captain. Of course, the most special does not mean strong strength. In fact, he does not have the strength to be the captain at all. If Chen didn't want to be the captain, and the old man Yamamoto couldn't find anyone, he would not be his turn to be the captain. Chapter 669 Naked Hints. Captain Yamamoto, I propose you Chen to be the captain of the 4th Division. When the atmosphere was dull, Uno Hanaritsu said suddenly. Shigekuni Yamamoto Yuanyugao was stunned for a while, and then asked, "What about you, Captain Unohana?" "I'm here to be the vice-captain of the 4th Division," Unohana Lai said. "Hey, Lai, you should ask my opinion, right? Don't make your own decisions. Don't worry, you will become the captain, and I will help you with the affairs of the 4th Division," Ujawali said with a smile. Chen thought about it. This is not unacceptable. Anyway, it doesn't matter who he and Ujawali are the captain, they are all a family. It seems that I haven't conquered Uno no Hana. Is it because Bachianryu calls Lai Uno Lai's mother all day, so I treat Lai as a family? I don't want to think so much anymore. Anyway, in Chen's heart, Mao Zhawali is already his person. Since it's Captain Unohana's suggestion, let's do it like this. From now on, Hyuga Chen will be the captain of the 4th Division. The old man Yamamoto did not refuse. Ujawali himself was willing to be reduced to the vice captain. What reason did he have for refusing? The meeting came to an end here, and the old man Yamamoto announced that the meeting was adjourned on the 22nd, and Chen became the captain of the Gote 13 team. I didn't expect you to become the captain too, so congratulations. Yi Xiang congratulated Chen. What's there to congratulate on this? I don't feel any difference after becoming the captain. Chen Shanyu lay on the rocking chair. It's different. Dad's name is big, and no one will dare to provoke me in the future. Bachenliu said with a smile. It seems that if I don't become the captain, no one dares to provoke you. Chen pinched Bachenliu's nose. Captain Chen, as your vice captain, please give me more advice in the future. Ujawali smiled and stretched out his hand. It's easy to talk, follow me, and make sure that you will eat delicious food and drink spicy food in the future. Chen stood up and patted Maujawali on the shoulder, and said solemnly. Where, as long as the captain doesn't hide the rules and subordinates are fine, even if the captain really hides the rules, there's nothing I can do. After all, I'm just a vice captain, and I can't resist. Ujawali said helplessly. Hey, Maujawali, you are going too far. You should be giving a naked hint, right? Yi said hurriedly. What's the hint? I don't seem to understand what you're talking about. Ujawali looked at Yaiki with a smile. Yi jumped his feet angrily, and hated people who pretended to be confused the most. Since you are so blatantly hinting at you, Lai, it doesn't seem good for me to be indifferent. Chen scratched his head and said. If you ignore Lai, then don't you see the charm of Unohana Lai is nothing, and Unohana Lai will definitely doubt his own charm and feel sad. Chen said that making a beautiful woman feel sad is not what a gentleman should do. Cough cough tilde. Lai, come to my room tonight, let's discuss the future development of the 4th division. Chen said with a serious face. Stare. Chang's eyes stared at Chen, his hand holding the black rabbit doll tightly. Don't look at me with such murderous eyes, you must know that men also have needs. Chen said that his scalp was numb from being stared at. But what Chen said is also, desire is unavoidable. It has been said that he has been in the world of death for decades, and Chen has not pushed a girl yet. Fortunately, there are Makoto, Kushina, Hancock and the others in the system space, and Chen also often goes to the system space. That's it. It's true. Chang lowered his head and thought for a while, then said, then let me solve your needs. Chen looked at Chang in surprise. Chang was able to say such bold words. Him with astonished eyes, Chang's face turned Yuhi's face, and then whispered, I am your Zanpakuto materialization. You are my master, shouldn't I do what I should do to solve my troubles for my master? If it's Chang, I actually don't mind. After all, Chang is so beautiful that anyone who sees it will be moved. Chen thoughtlessly nodded. When Chang heard Chen's words, he felt that Yuhi's cheeks were moistened again, and he didn't know how to speak shyly. You pervert, give me death. I want to kill you scum on behalf of a woman. Yi couldn't bear it any longer, and punched Chen in the head. Ah, it hurts. Is your head made of iron? Why is it so painful? Yi rubbed his fist. You deserve it. Chen gave Yi a gloating glance. Teacher, you can't be too scumbag. Broken Bee looked at Chen with a serious face. Broken Bee, you are still young, and you don't know what a scum is. I'm not a scum. Yes, he is not scum, he is scum. Yi interjected. Chen, that's the agreement. In the evening, I will report to you about the 4th division. Ujawali blinked at Chen, then turned and left. After Maujawali left, Chang and Yi both stared at Chen, and even Broken Bee secretly turned to Chen. The atmosphere doesn't seem right tilde. Yachenliu bit his fingers, feeling that the atmosphere was extraordinarily dignified. Chen, I will sleep with you tonight. Chang rushed into Chen's arms and looked at Chen with big eyes. I want to sleep with you too. Yi said. Although Yi can't rest assured that Maujawali can rest assured, it doesn't mean that she can rest assured. What will happen to Chen and Chang? What are you doing here? Hurry back to your 2nd division. don't get in the way here. Chong looked at Yi with disgust. The second team has nothing to do. The fourth team is not far from the second team. I will live in the fourth team at 920 in the future. Yi decided. Chen, what do you think? If you can come and warm the bed for me, I have no opinion. Chen said after thinking. That's fine. Yi leaned in front of Chen and said in his ear. Does Lord Yi want to live here? Then I will also stay here to protect the safety of Lord Yi. Broken Bee said solemnly. I don't agree. Chong said that he firmly disagreed, and this kind of thing must not be done to bring wolves into the room. You guys, come over and prepare to eat. Ujawali shouted to Chen and the others. After eating, Chen returned to his room, and Chong followed Chen back to the room, showing a smug expression to Yi. Yi snorted softly, and at night, I also went to night raid. Even if I couldn't do anything, I couldn't let Chong do anything. Chen just lay down, Chong lying beside Chen, 2 arms around Chen's neck, half of the body pressed on Chen's body. Chong's body is very soft, and Chen also hugs Chong, using Chong as a pillow. Chong was hugged by Chen, and felt extra peaceful and comfortable. Just as Chong continued to enjoy this comfort, there was a sudden knock on the door, and Chong opened his eyes very dissatisfied. Dome, go open the door. Chen patted the dome. Although reluctant, Chong got up and walked to the door, then opened the door and looked at a certain woman standing in front of the door. Chapter 670 Deadwood Shanghai defected. Chong, won't you let me in? Ujawali looked at Chong standing at the door with a smile on his face. What are you doing here? Chong's tone was not very good, and when Hecken was disturbed alone, she was not in a good mood. Of course he's here to report to Chen. After all, he's the captain of the 4th Division now, so he still needs Chen to ask about some things. Come in. Chong let out Maujiwalai in a resentful manner, and sure enough, Maujiwalai really came to report work. Chong was glad in her heart. Fortunately, she was witty and slept with Chen today, otherwise something would definitely happen to the two of them. Lai, I didn't expect you to report to work. Chen looked at Maujiwali with a surprised expression. During the day, he thought he was joking, but he didn't expect that Ujawali really came, and Chen suddenly regretted it. Chong shouldn't be allowed to share a room with him, maybe something wonderful could happen. Can't I report tomorrow if I have work? Now is the rest time. Chong reminded. It used to be good for 2 people to report to work. Now that there are more people, it feels a little inconvenient. Ujawali sighed. Then why don't I leave first? Chong said, but even though he said so, he had no intention of leaving. It's okay, I can do it another day, I'm not in a hurry at all. Ujawali said with a smile. A certain cat that sneaked in, didn't you say you would never become a cat again? Slap yourself. Chong looked at the black cat hiding in the corner. I was discovered, obviously I'm hiding well. The black cat jumped out. She is the best at restraining her breath, but Chong was unexpectedly able to find her. Humph. Any cat that steals fish will have nothing to hide under my eyes. Chong said proudly. Now the 4 of us can play mahjong. Chen sat cross-legged on the tatami. Let's sleep, don't pay attention to them. Chong hugged Chen, lying in his arms, and gave Maujiwali and Sifanyuan a provocative look, as if to swear sovereignty. Spending a night with 3 women in the same room, but Chen didn't accomplish anything, what a failure. The next morning, the people from the first team came to send a letter again, saying that Old Man Yamamoto was going to have a meeting again. I don't know, is Old Man Yamamoto addicted to meetings? Chen complained. Maybe there is something important. Otherwise, Yuan Luzai will never be allowed to hold a meeting in general matters. Ujawali said. Let's go. It's late, I guess Old Man Yamamoto is anxious. Chen took Ujawali and Yayi to the first team building. Before entering, I met Jingle Chunchui and Yukataki Shuru. Yo Tilda, your relationship is really good, let's come together. Jingle Chunchui looked at Chen and Yaiki, and then at Ujawali, with a strange look in his eyes. Chen is really amazing, Not only is he unclear about his relationship with Yi, but he is also unclear about his relationship with Maojawali, but he is still alive. Jingle Chunchui really admires him. Where, I think the two of you are really on good terms. Chen smiled and looked at Jingle Chunchui and Yukitake Shuru. What kind of eyes are you looking at? I tell you not to think about it, our relationship is just a close friend. Jingle Chunchui explained quickly. No need to explain, in fact, we all understand that you and Shuru Yukitake are true love, and I won't despise you. Chen said loudly on purpose. The captain and vice captain, who came over slowly, obviously heard Chen's words, and looked at Jingle Chunchui and Yukitake Shuru with a strange look in their eyes. I really didn't expect it. The two captains are so concerned, they hide it so deeply. Actually, I've known it for a long time, but I will bless the leader of the Jing band and the leader of Yukitake. Kazun Kiryu said with a smile. Well, let's go first. Shiro Yukitake expressed his embarrassment. He and Jingle Chunchui are indeed too close, so it is easier for people to misunderstand. However, Shuru Yukitake assured that the friendship between them was absolutely pure and could not be purer, and there was absolutely nothing else. When entering the conference room, Old Man Yamamoto and Silver Kuchiki were already sitting here, and Jiro, the head of the bird, was standing behind Old Man Yamamoto. Sparrow Minister Jiro is the deputy captain of the first team, and his strength is definitely not weaker than the captain of any team. After all the captains and vice captains were seated, the Old Man Yamamoto said, a very important thing has happened in the Soul World, let Captain Kuchiki tell you about it. Kuchiki Silverling's face was gloomy, and she said sadly, my family is unfortunate. My son-in-law Kuchiki Shanghai, you should all know that he has now defected to the Soul World. That genius god of death. Why did you defect? Jingle Chunchui asked suspiciously. Old Man Yamamoto and Kuchiki Silverling didn't speak. What else could it be because of the battle between factions? Moreover, Kuchiki Hikari's Zanpakuto ability is also terrifying. Even Old Man Yamamoto attaches great importance to Kuchiki Hikari's Zanpakuto ability. Best not to let others know about your own Zanpakuto ability, otherwise it will cause a series of consequences. The Zanpakuto of Kuchiki Hikari made Old Man Yamamoto fearful, so when Kuchiki Hikari was suppressed, Old Man Yamamoto did not come forward. What is needed now is to get rid of the Deadwood Shanghai. His Zanpakuto ability is a big hidden danger. Yamamoto Motoyanagi said. Able to keep someone else's Zanpakuto free from domination is terrifying, and even brainwashing Zanpakuto into materializing against his master. Yamamoto Motoyanagi, but he is very aware of the power of his Zanpakuto. It would be unimaginable if his own Zanpakuto also turned into a mutiny. Captain Yamamoto, I beg you not to kill him, will you seal him? Kuchiki Silverling said immediately. Yamamoto Yuanyugai Shigekuni's face was silent, the Deadwood Shanghai was too dangerous, and he was sealed, and it was not certain that the seal would be broken one day. This kind of danger is not under the control of death, it is best to get rid of it directly. However, when Kuchiki Silverbell spoke up, he had to give him a face. Let's leave this matter to Captain Saifengyuan, Captain Hyuga, and Captain Kuchiki. Yamamoto Motoyanagi Saijokuni said. The Old Man Yamamoto is very calculating, and he knows that Chen and Kuchiki Silverling are in conflict, and he will definitely kill his son-in-law when facing his son-in-law. Therefore, the Old Man Yamamoto handed over to Chen, the captain of the medical team, to deal with it. Chen looked at Kuchiki Silverling's ugly old face and agreed directly, making Kuchiki Silverling's face even more ugly. Don't worry, killing this kind of defector is an inescapable responsibility as a captain. I will definitely let him know the price of defecting. With a smile on Chen's face, he patted his chest and assured. Kuchiki Silverbell clenched his fists tightly, and he felt quite helpless in his heart. Chapter 671 Go to the Present World. Old Man Chan, for this matter, you have summoned all the captains to a meeting. Isn't it too much of a fuss? Jingle Chunchui said involuntarily. He thought there was something big, but he didn't expect it to be such a trivial matter. Although he was only the son-in-law of the Kuimu family, it wasn't worth taking too much action. Don't be careless, you all don't know the ability of the Deadwood Shanghai, although he is not even the captain, but his strength is not weaker than the general captain. Yamamoto Yuan Lu Saiju said solemnly. Has already been able to Bankai. How many of the entire Gote 13 team can do Bankai, and even some captains have not been able to Bankai. Even Chen doesn't have Bankai. It's not that Chen can't Bankai, but that Chen suddenly forgot. It's actually very simple for Chen to want Bankai. As long as Chang tells him his real name, he will be able to perform Bankai, but since Chen is not bad, he has left the Bankai thing behind. The Zanpakuto Shikai of Kuchiki Hibiki can make the enemy's Zanpakuto uncontrollable, said the old man Yamamoto. Hearing the description of the old man Yamamoto, everyone couldn't help but be surprised. It seems that it is really powerful. For Reaper, Zanpakuto basically represents most of the strength. Although it is very powerful, there is no need to recruit 510 people like this, said Kiryu Hazun. It sounds like it's powerful, but it's only more powerful, and it's not incomprehensible. This is just his Shikai. His Bankai can brainwash Zanpakuto, can make Zanpakuto materialize and attack his master. The old man Yamamoto said lightly. The old man Yamamoto said it also to remind Chen not to talk. The other captains remained silent. If that was the case, then Kuchiki Shanghai's Zanpakuto ability was indeed powerful. To be honest, after hearing this ability, they were all horrified. With this Zanpakuto, one person can subvert the soul world. Especially Jingle Chunchui, he is very aware of the Zanpakuto ability of the old man Yamamoto. If the Zanpakuto of the old man Yamamoto is materialized, then the Soul Society will not be saved. Captain Chen, please be sure to solve the other party, Jingle Chunchui said immediately. If the other party does not defect, it is fine, but the other party has defected, then it is best to eliminate him. The captain of the 6th Division, Silver Kuchiki, had a gloomy expression on his face, and Kuchiki Shanghai was the person he valued more. Now Kuchiki's family is dead, his son Kuchiki Kangchun is weak, and now Kuchiki's family can only count on Kuchiki Shanghai. Originally, Kuchiki Silver Bell was ready. After a while, he abdicated and elected Kuchiki Hikari as the captain of the 6th Division. As a result, this guy defected, and Kuchiki Silver Suzu was also very helpless. Jingle Chunchui, your 8th Division is in charge of intelligence, investigates the current movement of the Deadwood Shanghai, and then reports it to the captain of Saifengyuan. The old man Yamamoto said. After he finished speaking, the old man Yamamoto announced the dismissal of the meeting. We will soon investigate the whereabouts of the Deadwood Shanghai, don't worry. Jingle Chunchui said seriously. After knowing the ability of the Deadwood Shanghai, Jingle Chunchui also put away his cynicism. In just half an hour, Jingle Chunchui knew the location of the Shanghai River, mainly because this guy was very arrogant and did not hide after defecting. Kakuza Town, Kuchiki Shanghai is in Kakuza Town, Chongling Ground. This is his specific location information. Now that we know where he is, let's go. By the way, Captain Kuchiki won't show mercy to him, right? Chen asked Kuchiki Silverbell. Humph, you don't need to take action at that time, the old man will personally solve the shame of the Kuchiki family. Kuchiki Silverling said with a cold snort. Can't let Hugichin do it, he won't let him do it. If he doesn't do it, Kuchiki Shanghai will still have life. If Hugichin does, then Kuchiki Shanghai will probably die. Others may have doubts about Chen's strength, but Kuchiki Silverling will not doubt it, because they have done it. Let's go, solve it early and come back early, Yi Yi said. Chen directly opens the space channel, and does not need to go through the world to enter the world. This ability is very convenient. Jingle Chunchui looked at the open space channel and suspected that Chen's Zanpakuto had the ability of space system. Of course, Jingle Chunchui didn't make any inquiries. Chen and Yi stepped into it, Kuchiki Silver Suzu also entered, and in an instant, he came to the world. This is the first time Chen has come to the world since he came to the world of the god of death. Unlike the world of corpses and souls, where there are virtual circles, the spiritual children of this world are not so dense, but very thin. At this time, whether it is the present world or the ancient period, and which period it is, Chen also has no interest in knowing it. Let's go, look for the dead wood Shanghai. Chen was walking on the road, and the people around didn't look at them at all. People can't see Yoichi and Kuchiki Silver Bell, that's because they are in a state of spirit and cannot be seen by the ordinary naked eye. You can't see Chen, then it is completely Chen's demonic illusion. Chen is not a spirit body, he has a body, so Chen is not really a god of death. Captain Hyuga, after seeing Kuchiki Shanghai, can the old man clean the door himself? Kuchiki Silverbell was silent for a long time before asking. That's it. Let's see what the situation is at that time. Besides, it's better to say whether you can beat him or not. Don't be maimed by your son-in-law, Chen said venomously. Kuchiki Silver's old face rose. Yuhi. Are you denying the old man's strength? Yes, I just don't believe in your strength. You are already old, and you may not be able to beat the Deadwood Shanghai. Kuchiki Silver shivered violently, and simply stopped communicating with Chen. Let's see Deadwood Shanghai first. If he chooses to surrender, he will be imprisoned in Wuji at most. If he chooses to resist, it will naturally be executed on the spot. Yi said. Silver Kuchiki, I didn't expect you to be a ruthless person. I thought you would look forward to Kuchiki Shanghai's death in order to wash away your shame. Captain Hyuga, pay attention to your words, this old man is not that kind of person. Kuchiki Silver's eyes were cold. Actually, no matter what, your son-in-law will not have a good time. Just relying on his Zanpakuto ability, he will put himself to death. Chen is very clear about this. Sometimes it is a fault that the ability is too strong. The ability of the Deadwood Shanghai is too strong, so he will be squeezed and suppressed. It's not just the reason for the factional feud, the main thing is that he doesn't hide himself. S ability is dangerous, but isn't Aizen's Zanpakuto ability dangerous? No, Aizen's Zanpakuto is more dangerous, but he hides very deeply, while Kuchiki Shanghai is young and vigorous, too sharp-edged, he can't compare to Aizen at this point. This is the first time I come to the world, it's really strange. Yi stopped and walked, observing the difference between the world and the soul world. What's so strange? It's more backward than the soul corpse realm. Chen complained that at this time, the present world is far behind the corpse soul realm. Kuchiki Silver Suzu walked in the front, silent, bowing his head and not knowing what he was thinking. Chapter 672 The Battle Between Father-in-Law and Son-in-Law. You swagger, don't hide it at all, are you really so arrogant? Chen looked at the Deadwood Shanghai in front of him. Kuchiki Kyukawa did not speak, but looked at Kuchiki Silver Suzu with anger and hatred in his eyes. Silver Kuchiki, your son-in-law seems to hate you very much. Looking at that look, he can't wait to kill you. Chen patted Silver Kuchiki once. Kuchiki Silverling glanced at Chen, but did not speak, looking at Kuchiki Shanghai with a little guilt in his eyes. Sorry, Kuchiki Silverling said guiltily. There seems to be a story between the two of them. Shouldn't it be the son-in-law and the father-in-law who got it together? Yi pulled Chen and whispered. Chen stared blankly at Yi. What you said was too scary, and it's too bad you thought it out. Let's just watch the play, let them fight first. When the Deadwood Silver Bell can't solve it, we'll take another shot. Chen pulled Yi aside and found a place to sit down. Chen and Yi took the snacks and watched the conversation between the two of them silently. Through their conversation, Chen and Yi also knew a general idea, that is, when Kuchiki Shanghai was suppressed and squeezed out, Kuchiki Silverling chose to stand by and watch. So now Kuchiki Shanghai is full of hatred for Kuchiki Silverling, and he even threatened to destroy Kuchiki's house and the Soul realm with his own hands. He actually wants to destroy the Soul Society. Can it be done? Yi asked Chen. With his Zanpakuto ability, it is not impossible. As long as old man Yamamoto's Zanpakuto rebels, he will definitely be able to destroy the Soul Society. Yi looked at Chen suspiciously, and listened to Chen's tone, as if he knew clearly about Captain Yamamoto's Zanpakuto ability. By the way, what is the Zanpakuto ability of old man Yamamoto? I have never seen him use it. Yi was very curious. It seems that the old man Yamamoto has never done anything. Yi only knows that the old man Yamamoto is the strongest god of death, but he doesn't know how strong he is. Old man Yamamoto's strength has exploded, and he can definitely destroy the entire corpse soul world. It's very powerful, but it's still far worse than me. Yi looked at Chen suspiciously. Could it be your own narcissism? Feeling Yi's skeptical eyes, Chen was quite unhappy. Is this not believing in my strength? When Chen and Yaiki were talking, Kuchiki Shanghai, who had eyes on Yuhi, was about to attack Kuchiki Silver Bell. Shut up for me, don't say anything hypocritical, what's for my own good, I'm just a dog of your Kuchiki family. Kuchiki Shanghai growled. No, I have always regarded you as my own son. Ha ha ha, do you think I would believe it? Kuchiki Shanghai looked at Kuchiki Silverling coldly, with killing intent in his eyes. Deadwood Silver Bell was bitter. When Deadwood Shanghai was suppressed, the reason why he didn't help was to hone Deadwood Shanghai. Kuchiki Silverling knew that his son was not qualified to be the captain. He always wanted to train Kuchiki Hikari to be the captain of the 6th Division. I just didn't expect it to end up like this. This is also what Kuchiki Silverling did not know. A person who is married, has a strong self-esteem and is also very sensitive. Because Kuchiki Silverling ignored him, making Kuchiki Shanghai angry, thinking that Kuchiki Silverling let him into Kuchiki's house, just value his strength and just use him. Otherwise, why Kuchiki Kangchun can become the vice captain, and when he was in the 6th Division, he was the 3rd seat, and he thought that Kuchiki Kangchun was more suitable to be the vice captain than Kuchiki Kangchun. Later, he was transferred to the special unit of the 1st team, but he was excluded everywhere, but at this time Kuchiki Silverling didn't even bother to ask. This also makes Kuimu Shanghai feel that he is not valued, just like a dog kept by the Kuimu family, and no one cares about his life or death. Give me death. The more angry he became, Kuchiki Kyukawa stopped talking nonsense with Kuchiki Silver Bell, and instantly pulled out Zanpakuto Muramasa and slashed towards the vital part of Kuchiki Silver Bell. The 8th Binding Dao Rejection. Kuchiki Silver Bell blocked Kuchiki Shanghai's attack, and his body was knocked back several steps. If one hit failed, Deadwood Shanghai continued to attack Deadwood Silver Bell, and every move was extremely fierce. Wow Kuchiki Shanghai really wants Kuchiki Silver's life. Chen couldn't help saying. If Kuchiki Silverling doesn't fight back, will he be hacked to death next? Yi was a little worried. The Kuchiki family and the Sifeng family had a good relationship. So Yaiki couldn't watch Deadwood Silver Bell be hacked to death. It's okay, Kuchiki Silverling is also an old guy who has lived for so many years. If he is hacked to death by his son-in-law, then just wipe his neck and commit suicide. Chen waved his hand, indicating that there is no problem at all. Kuchiki Silver Bell can't beat Kuchiki Shanghai, but if Kuchiki Shanghai wants to kill Kuchiki Silver Bell, it is simply impossible. 62 Binding Roads. 100-step railing. The light rod that flew out successfully caught the Deadwood Shanghai, and then Deadwood Silverling continued to use the shackles, entangling the Deadwood Shanghai with 63 locks, making him unable to move completely. Do you think you can trap me like this? You really underestimate me. Kuchiki Shanghai had a look of disdain on his face. The chains that locked him were crushed by his powerful strength and spirit, and then he slashed towards the Deadwood Silver Bell. 61 Binding Roads 6 Stand Light Prison. However, Kuchiki Silverling abandoned the chant and had no ability to restrain Kuchiki Shanghai. After all, the ghost who abandoned chant had only 1/3 of its power. Why are you just using the Dao? Attack. Do you think I'll show mercy if you don't take action? Shanghai, go back with me. I will plead with Captain Yamamoto, please turn back. Kuchiki Silverbell persuaded. Please. How can you plead for me, but I killed several gods of death. The best result is to be imprisoned in Wuji. I don't want to be imprisoned. Deadwood Shanghai looked cold. Old man Kuimu, if you don't fight back, I'm afraid you will be beaten to death by your son-in-law. If this spreads out, your Kumu family's face will be lost. Yi couldn't help saying. Now, if the Deadwood Silverbell does not fight back, sooner or later, he will be killed. Humph. My decision, it's not up to you, a little girl, to intervene. This is a matter of our Kuchiki family. Well-meaning advice, but he was treated as a donkey liver and lungs. Yi simply ignored it. This old man wants to die, let him die. Looking at it now, Kuchiki Silverling is not bad, at least he treats his son-in-law well. Chen's face was surprised. Being attacked like this, he still endures it all the time. His tolerance for the son-in-law of Kuchiki Shanghai is really unusual. Wouldn't it be true that the son-in-law and the father-in-law had an affair as Yi said before? As soon as this thought popped up in his mind, Chen immediately cut it off. It was so disgusting, he absolutely couldn't think about it, and Chen couldn't imagine what a hot-eyed scene would be between an old man and a young man. Chapter 673 Have you ever been kicked by the speed of light? Half an hour later, under the onslaught of Kuchiki Shanghai, Kuchiki Silverling was panting, and his physical strength could no longer keep up. Kuchiki Shanghai has nothing to do, looking at Kuchiki Silverbell, who is panting. The coldness on Kuchiki Shanghai's face is even more cold. Since you don't fight back, I won't be polite to you either, whisper. Muramasa. The materialized Muramasa slowly appeared, and then attacked Kuchiki Silverling. A sudden sneak attack, and Kuchiki Silverling was knocked out. Tisk tisk, it seems it's time for us to take action. Chen shook his head and said. Being pressed and beaten by his son-in-law, although there is an element of not fighting back, it is also quite humiliating. Boy, I won't be the same as your father-in-law if I take action. Are you ready to die? Chen walked towards the Deadwood Shanghai. Shanghai, he is very dangerous. Go quickly. The village was reminded facing the Deadwood Shanghai. However, Kuchiki Shanghai would listen to Muramasa's reminder. Speaking of which, Muramasa, a loyal guy, is really sad to have such a master on the stall. Kuimu Shanghai has never recognized Mujung, and has always resisted Mujung, and it is rare that Mujung can still be loyal to Kuimu Shanghai. Hyuga Tatsu, do you think I don't know you? Bankai no Hakudo Chu Muramasa. After Bankai, the momentum of the Deadwood Shanghai burst out, and the surrounding houses were crushed by the powerful spiritual pressure, bringing a strong pressure. After Bankai, whether it is speed, strength or Reiatsu, it will be enhanced, and it is not an ordinary enhancement, but a dozen or even dozens of times. Bankai. Speaking of my Zanpakudo, there is no Bankai yet. When you go back, ask Dome. Chen glanced at Zanpakudo at his waist. When Chen was talking to himself, the materialized Muramasa delusionally wanted to enter Chen's inner world, but he was not qualified to enter Chen's inner world. Not only did he not go in, but he suffered heavy losses. No, Shanghai, hurry up, we are not opponents. Village Jung immediately shouted. Being able to enter the other party's inner world, he naturally couldn't brainwash the other party's Zanpakudo, which was equivalent to immunity to Muramasa. In fact, even if Muramasa entered Chen's inner world, he couldn't find Zanpakudo's sword spirit, because the sword spirit Haruhi Chong had already materialized and came to the real world. Even if he does see Chong, he will only be stabbed to death by Chong in the end. Waste. Deadwood Shanghai glanced at Muramasa and said coldly, his footsteps did not move at all. Kiba is radiant. Zanpakudo in his hand to aim at Chen, and then released a dozen green rays of light, Jinchuriki column. Looking at Chen who was penetrated, Kuimu Shanghai showed disdain on his face. He was very vigilant at first, but now it seems that way. However, the Deadwood Shanghai didn't see it, and now the wound that Chen was punched through was glowing with golden light. This is the elementalization of glitter fruit. Hey, Chen, you won't really be hit, right? Yi hurried over and asked Chen. The hit is indeed a hit, but the physical attack has no effect on me. The hole that was punched out of Chen's body instantly returned to its original state, even the clothes. You didn't feel very proud just now, did you? Chen looked at Deadwood Shanghai indifferently, his eyes seemed to be looking at a clown. What? Damn it, it's really hard to deal with. Deadwood Shanghai frowned. When he was in school, Kuchiki Shanghai paid attention to Guochen. Kuchiki Shanghai was 1 year higher than Chen, but he did not graduate earlier than Chen. Kuchiki Shanghai certainly paid attention to Chen, who graduated early, especially after he beat Kuchiki Silver Suzu with one punch. However, Kuchiki Shanghai didn't think he would be stronger than the other. Come on, let me see your true strength, I want to know how strong you can be. Kuchiki Shanghai looked at Chen proudly. He is a very proud and arrogant person, otherwise he would not have been reduced to this point. You want to see my true power? Did I hear it right? Chen looked at Deadwood Shanghai with disdain. The weak ants actually let the dragon show its real power. Do you think this is ridiculous? The ridicule in Chen's eyes was not concealed in the slightest, but it was clear that he looked down on the other party. This ability to pull hatred is really strong, Yi said in a low voice, looking at the raging Deadwood Shanghai. Now Kuchiki Shanghai should be about to explode in anger. But this is also understandable. Yi said that if he was brought to the side of the Deadwood Shanghai, he would be so despised by others that he would go mad with anger. Are you angry? This is the weak, you can only use anger to cover up your weakness. Chen continued to mock him wantonly. Bastard, I want you to die. Kuchiki Shanghai has lost his mind. Yi, you can see it. This is also a combat technique. First ridicule the opponent, make him lose his mind, and make the opponent's brain disappear completely, which is very effective. Chen explained to Yi. Really, won't you be beaten to death? Yi asked suspiciously. No, he was the one who was killed. Chen waved his hand and said, as long as his strength was strong enough, of course other people were killed. Deadwood Shanghai, speed is power, have you ever been kicked by the speed of light? Chen asked towards Deadwood Shanghai. Kuchiki Shanghai's eyes spewed out anger, and he didn't pay any attention to Chen's words. Looking at you, you know you won't know, but soon you will experience what it's like to be kicked at the speed of light. Light speed kick. A golden flash passed by, and it was indescribably fast, and the Deadwood Shanghai spurted a mouthful of blood, and then his body seemed to be hit by a falling meteor from the sky. Ah tilde, I'm really lucky that I didn't die. Chen looked into the distance. This kick did not kill the Deadwood Shanghai, but the Deadwood Shanghai did not die, but the village is already dead, and the Deadwood Shanghai was saved. Even if there is a village is blocking the robbery against the Deadwood Shanghai, the Deadwood Shanghai is still not lightly injured, and the Zanpakuto in his hand is broken. Oops, it's a pity that the valuable Zanpakuto was just kicked 4.8 by me. Chen's face was filled with pity. It is really a pity. Although this Zanpakuto cannot be used, it can be exchanged for a lot of exchange points if it is sold to the system. Is it so powerful? Yi stared blankly ahead, as if he was hit by a meteorite. No, this is because I reduced my power, otherwise the city would have been razed to the ground now, Chen said. It is not right to say that it was razed to the ground. It should be turned into a tianqing, and one kick can turn the city into a tianqing. Kuchiki Silverling also stared blankly ahead. With such a powerful force, his son-in-law Kuchiki Shanghai, shouldn't he have died in this blow? Glancing at Chen, then Deadwood Silverling went to look for Deadwood Shanghai. Even if he really died, he had to find the body. Chapter 674 I took care of your wife. Silver Kuchiki is so nervous about her son-in-law, I suspect that what you said before is true. Chen looked nervously at Kuchiki Silverling who was looking for Kuchiki Shanghai. What did I say? Yi asked. Didn't you say it before? It is suspected that the old man Kuchiki Silver Suzu has an affair with his son-in-law Kuchiki Kyukawa. Yi scratched his head. Did she really say that? Because she is relatively forgetful, Yi really can't remember whether she has said it or not. Let's go. Let's go take a look too. Chen took Yi's hand and walked over there. Being held by Chen's hand, Yi's face was slightly yuhi, and without struggling, he followed Chen and walked over there. Chen and the two of them just came over when they saw the deadwood silver bell being beaten and flying out, with blood still hanging from the corners of their mouths. Do you think I need your sympathy now? There's no door to catch me. Kuchiki Shanghai struggled to stand up, and then took a deep look at Chen, with hatred and unwillingness in his eyes. He was beaten into such a tragic state before taking revenge against the Soul Society. All of this was caused by the man in front of him, and Shanghai of Deadwood will never forget it. As long as he escapes, if there is a chance in the future, Deadwood Shanghai must take revenge against him, and he will definitely take revenge. You wait, one day, I will make you the me you are today. Kuchiki Shanghai said harshly, and then used Shunpo to leave. Really, I can never wait for that day. You are going to die. How can you avenge me? Chen suddenly appeared in front of the Deadwood Shanghai. How could you be so fast? Kuchiki Shanghai asked with an ugly face. How do you want me to answer this question? You are obviously too slow. Chen squeezed his neck with one hand and lifted him up. The Deadwood Shanghai was carried by Chen like a dead dog, looking at Chen with hatred and unwilling eyes. Hate it. Don't be reconciled. Hate your own weakness. Anyway, you don't have the ability to change anything. It's really sad. Chen's hand holding his neck was gradually clenched, and the Deadwood Shanghai felt that life seemed to disappear at any time, and the real death was walking towards him step by step. No, wait, Kuchiki Silverbell shouted. Silver Kuchiki, are you ill? Chen looked at Silverbell Kuchiki, who was obviously injured with blood hanging from the corner of his mouth. After being beaten like this, he still wants to speak for his son-in-law, how much he loves his son-in-law. He is already like this, he has no ability to resist at all, why let him die? Said Kuchiki Silverling. No way, this is what the captains hoped, and the old man Yamamoto would have no opinion, otherwise he would not let me come. You should know that the old man Yamamoto asked me to come, but he was not going to let him go. Chen faintly said. Kuchiki Silverbell sighed, he did know. Yamamoto Yuanyugai Shigekuni didn't want to let go of the Deadwood Shanghai, so Chen, who had a big conflict with him, dealt with the Deadwood Shanghai. But he couldn't let Deadwood Shanghai die, but his daughter begged him when he came. I don't need to beg for mercy, just kill me if I can. Kuchiki Shanghai said firmly. It's really sad vanity, obviously very afraid of death, but to pretend to be not afraid of death, really sad. Chen can feel that the Deadwood Shanghai does not want to die, and even has some fear of death. I'm not afraid, I'm unwilling, I haven't avenged you hypocritical death gods. Deadwood Shanghai has hatred in his eyes. He worked hard for the Soul Society, and did so many things for Seo Lingting, but in the end he ended up like this. Actually, it's not wrong for you to die. Do you know why you ended up like this? Chen asked lightly. Why? Because you are too high profile, you don't know how to keep secrets, and even Zanpakudo's ability is known to others, who will die if you don't die. If Kuchiki Hikari's Zanpakudo ability was average, he might not end up where he is now. Who made his Zanpakudo ability make people jealous, but he didn't know how to hide it, and he acted blindly in a high profile, making people jealous and suppressed. Either become a strong man, or become an ordinary person, and never become a genius in the eyes of everyone. Okay, I'm not interested in talking nonsense with you anymore, I'll just take you on the road. Wait, Captain Hyuga, please spare my daughter's life. Silver Bell Kuchiki bowed to Chen. Conflict between them is deep, Kuchiki Silverling hates Chen to death, and now I can bow to him. It can be seen that Kuchiki Silverling has put down his face. Your daughter's face. What's your daughter's face? My daughter will be very sad if Shanghai dies, said Kuchiki Silver Suzu. Oh, yes, he is your son-in-law, don't worry about that. Leave your daughter to me to take care of you in the future. It will be all right. Chen patted Kuchiki Silverling on the shoulder and comforted. Kuchiki Silver Suzu felt like he wanted to spurt blood, and pointed at him with trembling fingers. Chen, what are you talking about? Yi patted behind Chen angrily. You heard it too, don't worry. All the way, I will take care of your wife for you. Chen looked at the Shanghai of the Deadwood. Deadwood Shanghai's face turned green, with bloodshot eyes in his eyes, looking at Chen angrily. Anyone would be angry if they said something like that. Kuchiki Shanghai felt that he was going to be green. Wow Tilda, you bastard, I'm going to help you take care of your wife. It's okay if you don't appreciate me. It's really unconscionable to look at me with murderous eyes. Chen said angrily. It's because he doesn't have the power to resist, or he will definitely cut you into pieces. Yi said while biting Kiba. Send him to death. Chen 270 pulled out Zanpakuto and beheaded him with one knife. This genius god of death, who is famous in the soul world, ended there. Kuchiki Silverling stared blankly, because Chen had a brain hemorrhage just now, so he didn't react. Kuchiki Silverling reacted. Kuchiki Shanghai had already been beheaded by Chen Yadao. Hyuga Chen. Kuchiki Silverling stared at Chen with angry eyes, his fists clenched, and the spiritual pressure on his body was released with a bang. Captain Kuchiki, are you going to fight with me? I won't show mercy. If it's a big deal, go back and say you were killed by Kuchiki Shanghai. Kuchiki Silverling looked at Chen, and he could feel that Chen was not telling a lie. With his style, it was really possible to kill himself. Son-in-law is dead, and the Kuchiki Silver Bell can't catch up with him. If his top pillar, Jinchuriki column, dies, the Kuchiki family will fall apart. Very well, I have written down this matter. Kuchiki Silver Suzu calmed down the anger in her heart and took this matter in her mind. Just write it down. Why do you want to tell me what to do? Are you saying harsh words to me? I didn't expect that Captain Kuchiki would do this boring thing. What a shame. After speaking, Chen took Yi's hand and left. As for the Deadwood Silverling, let him find a way to return to the Soul Realm. Such a big person will never get lost by himself. What's more, even if the dementia is really lost, it has nothing to do with him. Chapter 675 Chen's Bankai. You guys are back so soon. Mao Zhawali looked at Chen and Yi too, feeling a little surprised. It's not an easy thing to solve a dead wood ringing the river. Of course, I'll come back after it's solved, Chen said. Actually, I originally wanted to go shopping in this world, but I was pulled back by Chen. Yi spread out his hands and said. What's there to do in this world? It's not as interesting as the soul world. The present world is still in ancient times, and there is nothing to do, so of course Chen is not interested. By the way, what is my bankai? Chen asked towards the doll holding the black rabbit doll. Chang was stunned for a while, and then said, the blade of nothingness. Bankai is the blade of nothingness. Blade of nothingness. It looks like I have to try it. Chen pulled out Zanpakuto. Do you experiment here? Can't you? It's best not to. If you don't want to see the fourth team's house destroyed, it's best not to perform bankai here. Chang Shangchen reminded. Then go to the virtual circle. Chen took the dome, then opened the space channel and entered the virtual circle. Have you just left? Yi, are you still here? Ujawali looked at Yi and asked. Seeing that you look unwelcome, I will leave. I can't ask about the second team at all. Yi waved his hand and left the fourth team. In the barren virtual circle, Chen and Chang stepped on the desert. Chang looked at Chen, waiting for Chen to start bankai. Qian, tell me about bankai's abilities first. This also prepares me a little bit. Chang pointed to his face, his eyes fixed on Chen. Okay. Anyway, I'm taking advantage of it anyway, not taking advantage of it. Chen kissed Changbai's cheek. The blade of nothingness can destroy everything into nothingness. As long as it is cut, or wiped by sword energy, it will be destroyed into nothingness. And it's not only that, as long as you turn on bankai, everything around you will slowly turn into nothingness. take yourself as the origin, and then start to spread. For a long time, Bankai will make the whole world turn into nothingness. It's really dangerous. Fortunately, Bankai didn't take place in the 4th division. Chen said happily after hearing this. His Bankai, just like old Yamamoto's Bankai, caused indiscriminate destruction, and his Zanpakuto, more domineering than Zenka no Tachi. Return to nothing. The blade of nothingness. The lacquered Zanpakuto suddenly turned white, and the other changes were not big, except for some complicated patterns, which were also white, and you couldn't see them without looking carefully. After Bankai, starting from Chen, the surrounding space collapses, the spiritual child disappears, and the entire space disappears like a melt. And the spread is very fast, and in a moment, all the kilometers in the radius are turned into nothingness. Kasugano Dome itself is Zanpakuto, so it will not be affected, otherwise it will definitely be turned into nothingness. Does this place belong to nothingness now? Chen looked at his surroundings with an inexplicable meaning. Yes, in this place, no space and time exist, nor do all the rules. Chang said softly. This is not the most important. The main reason is that this state of nothingness will be maintained forever here, and it will not be restored. If other people step into this place, they will also be turned into nothingness, which is regarded as creating a restricted area. This Zanpakuto is really scary, but sometimes Zanpakuto is too strong and it's annoying. Tatsu said after releasing Bankai. After seeing the power of the Void Blade, Chen knew that this Bankai could not be used easily in the future. Otherwise, something big will happen, and the Blade of Nothingness will turn everything except Chen and Chang into nothingness. It's too dangerous, you can't use it casually in the future. Chang, don't use Bankai casually. Chen patted Chang's head and said. Yeah, Chang nodded lightly. Chen took Chang's hand out of this restricted area, and then went to find Halibal and Nailu. If you let them know about the changes, they might come to check. If they walked in out of curiosity, there was only a dead end, and nothing would be left after death, so Chen had to remind them. After Chen took Chang's hand to find Halibal and Nailu, the atmosphere seemed very solemn. Yo Tilda, isn't this Balagang? I didn't expect you to be here too. After hearing the sound, Balagang immediately looked to the side, and after seeing Chen appearing here, his heart became solemn. Halibal, let's join forces first, and after we get rid of this god of death, how about we discuss other matters? Balagang said. Emperor Balagang, he is what I said before. The two traitors Halibal and Nailu took refuge in. Achukas, who was standing beside Balagang, said. Haribel, what's going on? Chen looked at this scene curiously. Of course, Chen also knew the emptiness surrounding Halibal. These were all Halibal's subordinates, and now it seems that they have betrayed. There was shame on Halibal's face. Lord Chen, it was my lax discipline that made these guys betray. These guys are really hateful. Nailu said angrily. Humph. Haribel, if you want to blame it, you have to take refuge in the god of death, and to be in the company of the god of death is simply a shame for us. The last time they besieged Muchung Kenpachi, and seeing Halibal's respect for Chen, those Achukas rebelled against Halibal. There is also the reason why Halibal is too kind. If you want to control these ghosts, you must be ruthless, and you must kill a few to deter other ghosts. Void is different from human beings. With Halibal's character, if she is in charge of a human kingdom, she may be able to become a good queen. But the virtual is different. Most of the virtual are very cruel, at this time only more cruel than them can rule them. Will a pack of wolves obey the rule of a sheep? No matter how powerful this sheep is, it will eventually be rebelled. Such a shameful thing was seen by Lord Chen. You really deserve to die. Haribel looked at these Yachukas with murderous intent in her eyes. Emperor Balagan, let's kill them together. Balagang was silent, looking at Chen in front of him. His heart was trembling. Although Balagang had never fought against Chen, he knew in his heart that he was not an opponent. Even if he didn't want to admit it, it was the truth. At this time, Balagang is really difficult to ride a tiger. It was a happy event for a group of Achukas to take refuge in, but now it seems to be in big trouble. You traitors, give me all to die, Wang Shu's flash. One move instantly killed 3 Achukas, and the indifferent eyes made the other Achukas tremble in their hearts. Chapter 676 Take Nelu and Halibal back to the Soul Realm. Emperor Balagang, hurry up and save us. Achukas, who was beheaded by Haribel and Nelu, called to Balagang for help. But as soon as he finished speaking, he was killed by Nilu's Wang Shu's flash. Although Nilu was kinder, she also had a bottom line. After these guys betrayed, they brought Balagang to besiege them. Traitors are hated by everyone, and Nilu is no exception. Seeing that Haribel and Nilu killed Achukas just like killing a chicken, Balagang was horrified. Fortunately, I hadn't done it before. Looking at the strength of these 2 women, it seems that they are stronger than him. Balagang, who thought he was invincible in the world, was hit at this time. How could he be so much stronger than him? Balagang, what are you doing here, can you tell me? Did you come to trouble my subordinates? Chen's spiritual pressure blocked him. The powerful and terrifying Reiatsu made Balagang feel like he was about to suffocate, and he felt like he was about to be crushed to death. How? Why is your Reiatsu so strong? Balagang asked intermittently with difficulty. Is this unbearable? You, the king of the virtual circle, were really weak and completely vulnerable. Chen took back some spiritual pressure so that Balagang could speak normally. Balagang wanted to use the ring to escape, but found that he couldn't escape, and even the Reiatsu couldn't be mobilized. Soon, Halibal and Nilu dealt with the betrayed Achukas, and a few Achukas brought by Balagang were also killed. Balagang wanted to cry but had no tears. This time he lost a lot of money, and it is very likely that he would also lose his own life. Lord Chen, do you want to kill Balagang? Halibal pointed at Balagang with a big sword, and as long as Chen nodded, Halibal slashed him with a big sword. Forget it, let him get the hell out of here. Chen waved his hand and told Balagang to get out of the way. Balagang looked at Chen strangely. He thought he had heard it wrong. Originally, he had already surrendered and dealt with it in exchange for his life. Although Balagang is the king of the virtual circle, he is not afraid of death, otherwise he will not be recruited by Aizen and become the 20th blade of Aizen. What are you still doing standing here? Lord Chen told you to get out. Halibal looked at Balagang with murderous intent in her eyes. Feeling cold all over, Balagang found that the restraint on him had disappeared, and immediately used the ring to escape. He didn't look like the king of the virtual circle at all. I didn't expect to be betrayed by those people, please Chen Lord to punish. Halibal said half-kneeling in front of Chen. What's the punishment? Chen Rang half-kneeled on Halibal. I wanted to unify the virtual circle, and then let Lord Chen take charge of the virtual circle, but now it seems to be impossible. Halibal said lost. Those traitors are really hateful. Nilu said angrily. Forget it, you two follow me back to the Soul Realm. Can you? Nilu looked at Chen expectantly. She really wanted to follow Chen to the Soul Realm, but if it caused trouble to Chen, she would not go. Okay, go back with me now. Chen opened the space passage, and at the other end of the space passage was the 4th division. Chong puffed up his cheeks and walked into the space passage first. Wow Tilda, Nilu, you are here, so happy. Bachinliu shouted full of energy. Yeah, Bachinliu needs more advice in the future. Nilu crouched down and patted Bachinliu's head. If Shigekuni Yamamoto Yuan Luzai knew about it, he would definitely go crazy. Ujawali said. It's okay, it's fine not to let him know. By the way, what about Yi? Have you gone back? Go back, the affairs of the 2nd division also need her to handle. Chen, come with me. Chong grabbed Chen's hand and walked aside. What's the matter with you, Chong? Why do you seem to be in a wrong state? Are you sick? I won't get sick, but I need to ask you for something. Chong whispered while pinching the corner of his clothes. Just talk about it. Why are you hesitant? When did you become so unfrank? Chen said while pinching Chong's cheek. Tonight, sleep with me. Chong's eyes were filled with anticipation. Such a trivial matter. As long as Chong doesn't mind, I can sleep with you as a 10-10. Chen chuckled lightly. Chong nodded, then covered his face and ran away in a panic, actually shy. The next morning, when Chen opened his eyes, there were two people lying in his arms. One was Chong, and the other was Maujawali. Chen, are you awake? Ujawali opened his eyes, and after seeing Chen, his face was ashamed of Yuhi. Oh, I'm so tired, I can't do it anymore. Chong, who was lying on the other side, waved his arms and said. You and Chong rest first. I will handle the matter of the 4th division today for you. Chen got up and said to Ujawali. Chen and Chong were together last night. Of course, it was impossible to do nothing. Just when Chen and Chong were doing that kind of thing, Maujawali suddenly broke in. Then, it was naturally pushed by Chen Quan. Ujawa nodded, then closed her eyes tiredly. She was really tired. One morning, looking at these documents, Chen signed them. Although he didn't care, he still knew what the captain needed to do. There is not much work for the captain to handle, basically signing the plan proposed by the person below. Chen, this is not like you. Why are you working here? After Yi came, he saw Chen working in the office with an incredible look on his face. I call this experience life, do you understand? Pour me a glass of water. Chen pointed to the cup. HMPH. You know how to instruct me. Although Yi's tone was unpleasant, he still picked up the cup and gave Chen a glass of water. Why don't you help me with the rest? Don't take anything, I just got through a whole bunch of stuff yesterday and now I'm having a headache looking at the files. She slumped on the table listlessly. By the way, where's Ujawali? It's really strange that you are handling the affairs, not Ujawali. It's nothing surprising, let Lai take a rest today, can't you? Chen put down the document in his hand and stretched out. Yi still looked at Chen suspiciously. Her understanding of Chen was already very thorough, and she was basically a salted fish. Today, this salted fish is actually working hard, which is very strange. Don't stare at me all the time, I know I'm handsome, but you don't need to stare at me all the time. Chen stretched out his hand and flicked Yi's forehead. Yi rubbed Fan Yuhi's forehead, glared at Chen angrily, and then went to the training ground to find Broken Bee, who has been staying in the 4th team's quarters these days. Yi wanted to find out through Broken Bee, why Chen suddenly became nervous today. That's right, at night, when Lycan suddenly goes to work, it's nerve-wracking. Chapter 677 Kuchiki Silver Bell Visits. On the training ground, Broken Bee is training diligently. With Broken Bee's level of diligence, it is definitely appropriate to surpass Yi in the future. Broken Bee, stop for a while. Yi shouted to the Broken Bee. Hearing Yi's voice, Broken Bee stopped training and walked towards Yi. Master Yi, you are here. How many times have I told you, little Bumblebee, you don't need to call me Yi, you have to call me my sister. Yi said while pinching Bibi's cheeks with 2 hands. By the way, Brobe, do you feel that something is wrong with Chen today? Why did he suddenly go to work? Yi's words made Shui Feng's face turn pale Yuhi, and his thoughts suddenly returned to last night. Thinking of the sound he heard last night, Shui Feng's face became more and more Yuhi. Broken Bee, your face is full of smoke, you can boil the eggs, what's going on? Yi shook the shovel bee and intuitively told her that something must be happening. The Broken Bee's expression was still as smooth as Yuhi's expression. Looking at Yi, she didn't know how to speak. Little Broken Bee, if you don't say anything, I'll do something to you, hum hum hum. I said, I heard some strange noises from Captain Chen's room last night. Strange sound, what's so strange? Yi looked at Shu Fengtong Yuhi's cheek and understood at once. To be able to make Sufeng look like Yuhi, and I didn't see Ujawali today, but Chen was working. Yi's complexion was darker at first, but now it's even darker. The famous detective Yi has already guessed the truth, and the next time is to confirm the truth. Begbie, you need to train first. I have something to do. Yi Yi used Shunpo to leave and hurried towards Chen's room. Broken Bee scratched her head, and then prepared to go to Hannibal for practical training. Yesterday, she had a practical training with Hannibal, which was very helpful for her strength improvement. Yi Yi came out of Chen's room, pushed open the door and walked in. Seeing Chong and Mao Jiwalai lying on the tatami, Yi Yi couldn't help but scream. Dome and Unahakali, who were sleeping soundly, were awakened by Yaiki and opened their eyes to look at Yaiki. It turned out to be Yi Yi. Mao Jiwalai looked at Yi Yi with a smile. Chong became more shy, and immediately covered his cheeks with the quilt. After a long while, Chong and Mao Jiwalai put on their clothes and got up. Something was wrong when they walked. Even though the god of death was a spirit body, the initial pain was still unavoidable. You two, did you have a relationship with that guy Chen last night? Yi Yi asked while biting Kiba. Yi Yi, you're very shy to ask this question all of a sudden. Chong said with a slightly Yuhi cheek. All right, Chong's current state is basically equivalent to acquiescence. Thinking about going back one day, this kind of thing happened, two guys sneaked away, and Yi Yi couldn't accept it. Why did I suddenly fall behind? Could it be that I'm not attractive enough? Yi Yi fell into self-doubt, feeling like a lost dog in life. She'll be fine, right? Chong looked at Yi Yi in a decadent state. It should be fine. It is estimated that with her character, she will soon be able to recover from the decadent state. Ujawali said with a smile. In the 4th Division office, Chen looked at the sudden arrival of Kuchiki Silver Ling, feeling very strange. Kuchiki Silver Suzu didn't come alone, Kuchiki Sosun was accompanied by him, and there was a woman. 3. What are you doing in the 4th Division? Are you injured? Chen asked them curiously. Captain Hyuga, I'm here to visit you this time. Kuchiki Silverbell said flatly. Kuchiki Silverling's flat face. Wuyu is not very surprised. Anyway, Kuchiki Silverling has always been like this. However, the sudden visit of Kuchiki Silver Suzu is very suspicious. His son-in-law had just died in his hands, when Kuchiki Silver Suzu suddenly visited. By the way, about the death of the deadwood Shanghai, Chen has not said a word to the old man Yamamoto. Forget it, send someone to say it later. Captain Kuchiki suddenly came to visit, what should be the matter? Chen didn't believe that Kuchiki Silverling would come to visit him if he had nothing to do. At this time, Karatsu Uno, Dome, and Yoichi, who had a disappointed face, walked in, and they felt very strange when they saw Silver Suzu Kuchiki visiting. Guizi, why are you here? Are you here to ask Chen for an explanation? Yi Yi asked, looking at the only woman. Guizi's full name is Kuchiki Guizi, the wife of Kuchiki Shanghai. Yi glanced at Chen with a schadenfreude smile on his face. Yesterday, I quietly pushed Maojawali and Chong, and today I will see what you do. It turned out to be Yi Yi. I didn't expect you to be here too. Guizi smiled when she saw Yi Yi. Captain Kuchiki, just say what you want to say. If it's for the sake of Kuchiki Shanghai, don't talk nonsense. Chen picked up the cup and took a sip. Captain Hyuga, you won't forget what you said before, right? Kuchiki Silver Bell suddenly said. Chen looked at Kuchiki Silverling suspiciously. What he said before, what did he say? This is the little girl Kuchiki Koshiko, who is also Kuchiki Shanghai's wife. Now I have asked Captain Hyuga to take care of him. I just hope that Captain Hyuga can give Koshiko a place. Chen just drank a sip of water and spit it out suddenly. What is this old guy, Silver Bell, Kuchiki talking about? Maojawali and Chong were stunned. Yi Yi was puzzled at first, and then remembered what Chen said to Kuimu Shanghai before. I remember Chen said to Kuchiki Shanghai, I will take care of your wife in the future, but I didn't expect Kuchiki Silverbell to really send Kuchiki Koshiko. What is this? I was just joking before. You won't take it seriously, right? Chen was stunned by Kuchiki Silver's coquettish manipulation, and it took a long time to recover. Captain Hyuga, do you think my Kuchiki family is easy to bully? Kuchiki Kangjun asked with a cold face. Wait, what are you talking about? Chang interrupted quickly. Kuchiki Silver Suzu glared at Chen with anger on his face. I said Kuchiki Silver Bell, can't you hear that? What I said before was just for fun. Chen couldn't help saying. At that time, he just wanted to be angry with Deadwood Silver Bell and Deadwood Shanghai, but this old man couldn't take it seriously. Taking a look at Kuchiki Guizi, although she is not ugly, she can't compare with Ujawali, Kasuga Yechong and the others, and can only say that she looks more beautiful. If she is really a big beauty, Yichen doesn't have much integrity, maybe she will accept it, and the key to dealing with it is not called a big beauty. Maybe in the eyes of other people, she can be considered a beauty, but Chen's eyes are more critical. Is it possible to fool the old man with a single word? I don't care. Now I have brought Guizi. Kuchiki Silverling said coldly. Captain Kuchiki, this is the 4th Division team building, please leave. Ujawa said calmly. Kuchiki Silverling go, it is obvious that it is Lai Shangchen. Chapter 678 Team Zero's Invitation. Chen looked at Kuchiki Silverling. The old guy, did he do it on purpose? Shoot them out for me, Chen said. The members of the 4th Division came in and looked at Kuchiki Silverling and the others. They didn't know what to do. Seeing that it was Kuchiki Silverling, they really didn't dare to shoot out. What are you doing? This old man was kicked by a donkey. What if he goes mad and hurts the captain? Why don't you hurry and shoot him out? The members of the 4th Division bravely walked over. Captain Kuchiki, I'm sorry, please go out. Kuchiki Silverling stood up, snorted coldly, and left with Kuchiki Kangjun and Kuchiki Kyuko. Captain Hyuga, I will never give up on this matter. Kuchiki Silverling left. Ujawali and the others looked at Shang Chen with questions in their eyes. What the hell is going on? Why did the old guy like Kuchiki Silver Suzu come to see his daughter all of a sudden? It's probably because the old fellow, Silver Suzu, has something wrong with his brain. But I can't talk nonsense in the future. Chen spread his hands and said. Because of this incident, the conflict between Chen and Kuchiki's family seems to have deepened. Every time he sees Chen, Kuchiki Silverling's eyes seem to be eating him. Time passed in a hurry. To the god of death, time seemed worthless, and 100 years passed in a blink of an eye. In the past 100 years, there have been many changes in the position of the captain of Gotei's 13th team. Hiroko Meiko became the 5th team captain, Aizen became the vice captain, and Shibi became the 2nd team's vice captain. However, the captain and vice captain of the 2 2nd divisions, Yi and Broken Bee, seem to live in Chen's 4th division. The time in the 2nd division is not as long as the time in the 4th division, especially on the night of the 1st. Get up. Chen patted Yi and Chang who were sleeping beside him. Yes, Chen had already eaten Yi and wiped them clean. I'm so tired. Don't bother me. Yi pulled the quilt over and covered his head. This kind of leisurely life is the most suitable for me. Although it is peaceful, it is very comfortable. After Chen got up, he opened the window. Chen, breakfast is ready. Mao Xiaowali pushed the door open and shouted to Chen. Chen walked over, hugged Ujawali in his arms, lowered his head and kissed her on the lips, and then pulled Ujawali out. Didn't you call them both? I guess I can't get up, let's eat. By the way, why didn't I see Bachenliu? Chen asked in confusion. Where did this little girl, Bachenliu, go? It seems that I went to Hikari Kiryu's place. I heard that Hikari Kiryu received an invitation from the Zero team and was selected by the Zero team, and it seems that the selected person is also you. Choose me. I'm not interested in going to the Zero division, but I'm a little interested in the Spirit King. Chen's eyes were full of light. Yuhabak is the son of the Spirit King. The Spirit King is the foundation of the existence of the world. It sounds like a great man, but in fact he is like a puppet. After breakfast, while Chen was sitting in the office drinking tea, Hikafuna Kiryu brought Yakiryu to the office. When Bachenliu saw Chen, he immediately rushed towards Chen. Dad, the 12th division has a lot of fun things. Bachenliu said happily. As long as you're happy. Chen squeezed Bachenliu's cheeks, and then kneaded hard. Hello, my name is Shutara Senjumaru, nice to meet you. You are Shutara Senjumaru, codenamed Orimori. Chen's eyes looked at the woman standing at the back, full of elegant temperament. You actually know your concubine. Shutara Senjumaru looked at Chen with surprise, but she hadn't been to Seraiti for a long time, so it's strange to know her. Shutara Senjumaru looked at Uno Hanariot. Could it be Uno Hanariot who told this man her identity? You're the third person I've seen who likes to call himself a concubine. Chen looked at Shutara Senjumaru and said, the other two were naturally Otsutsuki Kagaya and Hancock. Tell me about your purpose. The people from Team Zero will not come here for no reason, right? Chen, she's here to invite us to join Team Zero. Do you want to join Team Zero? Kiryu Hazun looked at Chen expectantly. Join Team Zero? Sorry, I have no interest. Chen refused without hesitation. What to do in a place like the Lingwang Palace, except for the strong spiritual child, you can't even find a person to communicate with. Shutara Senjumaru frowned slightly, and there were basically no people who could refuse the invitation of Team Zero. Anyone who knows anything about Team Zero will aspire to join Team Zero. Can you give the concubine a reason? Shutara Senjumaru asked. Reason? Why do you need a reason? If you don't want to join, you just don't want to join. Do you still need a reason? I never need a reason to do things. Ujawali smiled. Of course, she didn't want Chen to join Team Zero. This kind of life was good enough. What would you do with Team Zero? You are the most self-willed person I have ever seen, but Team Zero doesn't have to ask you to join. It's a pity that Chen didn't join the Zero Division. That being the case, I won't join the Zero Division anymore. Hazun Kiryu said in an astonishing tone. Shutara Senjumaru was taken aback for a moment. Could it be that Team Zero is already so unpopular? Since I don't like it, then the concubine will not force it. Shutara Senjumaru said. Team Zero is just an invitation, and it is also the other party's freedom if the other party doesn't want to join. Team Zero will not force it. Forcing others to join is not too compelling. I thought that the Zero Division could have 2 more people, but now it looks like it's really a pity. Shutara Senjumaru said with a sigh. Actually, I want to know, what talent does Team Zero value in me? Why did they invite me? Chen asked curiously. He didn't show any talent. Why would the people of Team Zero look for themselves? Your ghost way, concubine knows, you once killed thousands of Daxu with one move that abandoned the ghost way of chant. Can this be able to join the Zero team? Then the threshold for your Zero team is really low enough, and you can be invited by killing a group of trash fish. One move 3.2 Ghost Path was very common to him, and he didn't use it with all his strength. Shutara Senjumaru is very knowledgeable, and feels very speechless. Even Yamamoto Motoyanagi, it is not an easy thing to use ghosts to kill thousands of Kirin. At least in the case of abandoning the chant, Yamamoto Motoryu Saijokuni would never be able to kill thousands of Kirin in one move. There is another reason, that is, your strength is unknown. It seems that no one knows your specific strength. Shutara Senjumaru stared at Chen tightly. Being stared at by Shutara Senjumaru, Chen's expression did not change at all. Shutara Senjumaru looked at Chen, her brows furrowed slightly. In addition to inviting Hazun Kiryu and Chen, she also came with a mission, and the mission was to test Chen. But after observing for a long time, Shutara Senjumaru didn't see anything. Chapter 679 Use Kotoamatsukami on Shutara Senjumaru. You keep staring at me, what do you mean? Chen asked with his feet raised. It's nothing, I just want to explore you. Shutara Senjumaru had a slight smile on the corner of his mouth. Speaking of which, you really don't plan to join the Zero team. Chen looked at Hikun Kiryu, who chose not to join the Zero team, which surprised Chen. Yeah, but I want to join the 4th division, just give me the status of an ordinary member. Hazun Kiryu said suddenly. Huh, Chen was stunned for a moment, and he didn't want to be the captain of the 12th division, and he didn't even go to the invitation of the Zero division, so he actually wanted to come to him as a team member. How is it? Chen, do you have any comments? Asked Kiryu Hazun. Opinion, I have no opinion, but Old Man Yamamoto agrees. If Old Man Yamamoto doesn't agree, then I can't do anything about it. Captain Yamamoto should agree. I, the captain of the 12th Division, have been in charge for a long time, and it's time to give it to a newcomer. Kiryu Hazun said. Captain Chen, I just felt the spiritual pressure of Shu. I don't know how Captain Chen will explain it. Shutara Senjumaru suddenly interrupted and said 22. Shutara Senjumaru finished speaking. The atmosphere suddenly became solemn. Oh, did you find out? Chen unexpectedly looked at Shutara Senjumaru and put down the teacup in his hand. Looking at Chen calmly admitting it, Shutara Senjumaru was puzzled. Shouldn't he try to deny it at this time? Right now, Shibubi is training with Harabel, and it should be that the Reiatsu that Harabel accidentally escaped was discovered by Shutara Senjumaru. But even if found, it's no big deal. Why are you so calm? If this matter gets out, Captain Chen will not feel better. This kind of thing won't get out. You're so sure? I won't say it. Shutara Senjumaru asked indifferently. Not sure, but you have to be able to say it. Chen looked at her indifferently. Shutara Senjumaru was startled. She wasn't a fool, why didn't know what Chen meant, and made it clear that she was going to kill her. Shutara Senjumaru's face turned gloomy, and he looked at Chen vigilantly, daring not to underestimate him in the slightest. It is the recognition of Chen's strength that Ikibe, the head of the army, decides to invite him into Team Zero. How could Shutara Senjumaru dare to underestimate it? In Sirinte, if you dare to fight with me, the captains of other divisions shouldn't be aware of it, right? I'm sorry, they really can't detect it, just accept your fate. Chen appeared behind her instantly, and put his right hand on Shutara Senjumaru's shoulder. Shutara Senjumaru felt that the Reiatsu within her body was out of control, and now she is just like an ordinary person. Now you seem to be planted in my hands, what do you think I should do to you? Chen had a playful smile on his face. By the way, your skeleton arms are quite unique. Chen looked at the 6 skeleton arms behind her. I can still take it down. Chen pulled one down as soon as he pulled it. But don't you have hands? Chen touched her body, but she did touch her arms. She didn't understand that she had to install 6 skeleton arms on her body even though she had hands. Have you touched enough? Shutara Senjumaru's face was full of anger, as if it was about to explode. Enough is enough, your figure is not bad. Chen retracted his hand and said. Oh, Chen, are you really going to kill her? Asked Kiryu Hazun. Of course, don't kill and keep her to make trouble for me. Chen slowly pulled out Zanpakuto. Seeing Chen Wanjun, Shutara Senjumaru looked at Ujawali, who gave her a smile and chose to watch from the sidelines. Although Uno Hanariat knew Shutara Senjumaru, but they were not familiar with each other, so Uno Hanariat didn't mean to plead for her. Wait, do you know the consequences of killing a concubine? Shutara Senjumaru asked. Yes, killing you is also very troublesome, but it's impossible to let you go so easily, let's just control you directly. Chen's eyes flashed with mysterious light. I have a pupil technique called Koto Amatsukami, which can invade your brain and modify your will without being noticed. Would you like to try it? Shutara Senjumaru finally couldn't help but change his face, and his face showed fear. The concubine promises that the concubine will never tell you that there is a virtual spiritual pressure here. Shutara Senjumaru said immediately. You promise. Sorry, I don't trust you. But don't worry, I just want you to be loyal to me, and I won't change the rest. Chen said with a light smile. Koto Amatsukami. Master. After hitting Koto Amatsukami, Shutara Senjumaru naturally knelt down and bowed to Chen after seeing Chen. In Shutara Senjumaru's consciousness, there was no sense of disobedience, as if she had been loyal to Chen in the first place. It's actually true. Hibun Kiryu looked surprised. Originally, when I heard Chen talking about Koto Amatsukami, Kiryu Hibun thought it was just a joke, but I didn't expect such a pupil technique. Is this too pervert? Hey, Chen, you won't use this pupil technique on me, will you? Asked Kiryu Hazun, taking a few steps back. I wouldn't mind giving it to you if you wanted to. No, I'm not interested, ghosts are willing to be changed. Kiryu Hazun quickly refused. Shutara Senjumaru, I want to know the information of the Zero Division. Chen looked at Shutara Senjumaru. Yes, Shu-210 Dora Senjumaru nodded, and then shared the information of Team Zero to Chen. Knowing the news of Team Zero is basically the same as what Chen knew when he first watched the anime. You will be responsible for monitoring the other captains of the Zero team in the future, and the focus is to pay attention to the two House King Yu. Chen said to Shutara Senjumaru. Paying attention to Ermewu Wangyu is because Chen is eyeing the shallow fight, and the shallow fight can be sold to the system. This Chen will naturally not let it go. Well, I wonder if the master needs a concubine to serve the bed. Shutara Senjumaru asked. No need. Before Chen could speak, Ujawali interrupted her. Shutara Senjumaru didn't look at Ujikali, but looked at Chen like spring water, waiting for Chen's words. Forget it, you leave first. I'll come to sleep with you when I have time. Chen glanced at Ujawali and said. That concubine retired first. Shutara Senjumaru left and returned to the Spirit King Palace. You can handle these things yourself. Azuki Hanali threw aside the documents that needed to be handled by the captain, and then gave up. Hey, Lai, are you angry? Chen shouted loudly. Why don't I help you deal with it? Said Kiryu Hazun. Thank you so much. Chen readily picked up the document on the table, and then handed it to Kiryu Hazun. Someone helped him deal with it. It was too late to be happy. Chapter 680 Flowing Soul Street meets Aizen. Hibun Kiryu, the captain of the 12th Division, suddenly applied for abdication and joined the 4th Division, becoming the third seat of the 4th Division. The 12th Division was vacated, and Urahara Kazuki eventually became the captain of the 12th Division. Dad, shall we go to Liuhun Street to play? Bachan Liu asked, holding Chen's hand. Chen, who was sleeping on the table, raised his head, looked at Bachan Liu and asked, why are you going to Liuhun Street? I'm tired of watching the entire Saranje, and I want to go to Liuhun Street to see it. Dad, didn't you say I picked it up in Liuhun Street? I haven't seen Liuhun Street yet. Looking forward to Chen. Okay, since Bachan Liu is going to Liuhun Street, I'll take you there. Chen let Bachan Liu lie on his back, and then left the 4th Division. Chang carried the black rabbit doll, and when he saw Chen leave, he followed. Near the Saraiti, the law and order of Liuhun Street is also good, and there is no need to worry about food. Wow Tilda, it feels better than Siritsu. Yachin Liu said happily, squinting his eyes. You're the only one who thinks so. Chen said speechlessly, although it was close to Seo Lingting, the law and order was good, and the land was very fertile, but it couldn't compare with Seo Lingting. She thinks it's more lively here. Chang said softly. Xiao Chang is right, this place is much more lively than the Soul World, I like it very much. Bachan Liu said with a smile. The snacks here are also delicious. Quote. Chen felt speechless, why didn't he eat delicious food? I guess Bachan Liu is used to a good life, and now he tastes this kind of food that he has never eaten before, it will feel delicious. As the distance from Saraiti got farther, because Saraiti could not manage it, the area where he was now was already in chaos. Chen brought Bachan Liu and Chang, and has been attacked several times, but all of them have been solved. This was also because Chen didn't wear a Death Tyrant outfit. If he was wearing a Death Tyrant outfit, they would definitely not dare to attack. I feel the familiar spiritual pressure. Chen raised his head and looked in one direction. It's the Reiatsu of that hypocritical guy. Chang said, holding Chen's hand. Let's go and have a look. Chen picked up Chang, and the figure disappeared instantly. It's really your misfortune to be met by me. Little girl. Looking at the yellow-haired girl not far away, Lan Ran had a faint smile on her face. Now the smile on Aizen's face is less of the disguised hexy gentleness, and more indifferent. Yo tilde, when did you start acting as a strange uncle to scare children? Chen's voice came from behind Aizen. The smile on Aizen's face disappeared, replaced by complete indifference, but the indifference was only fleeting, and the original gentle and he smile was restored again. It turned out to be Chen. I didn't expect you to appear in Liuhun Street. I really didn't expect it. Vice Captain Aizen, I don't know what you are doing here. Chen's face showed the same smile as Aizen. I heard that the ghost appeared in Liuhun Street. I came here to deal with it, but this ghost attacked me, so I want to take her back to teach. The blonde-haired little girl was frightened, with grievances on her face. She didn't attack the death god at all. Assaulting the vice captain, this is not a small crime. The vice captain Aizen just wanted to take it back to teach you. Aizen, you are really kind-hearted. Chen gave Aizen a thumbs up, with a look of admiration on his face. In fact, I admire you very much, the captain of the 4th Division, who specializes in saving lives and helping the wounded. Commercial blows are really disgusting, Chong said in a low voice. Chong's whisper was naturally heard, and he reached out and rubbed his head on Chong's head in revenge. Chong opened Chen's hand, and then straightened the messed up hair. Aizen also heard Chong's words, but his face didn't change at all, as if he didn't hear it at all. I don't know what Captain Chen is here for, Aizen asked curiously. As this heard that there is a ghost in Liuhun Street. I knew that there would definitely be a death god coming to encircle and suppress it. I was afraid of being injured, so I came here for treatment. Chen said nonsense. If Chen's nonsense Aizen believed a word, it would be strange. Captain Chen is really great. He even treats emptiness and treats any life equally. I might as well, Aizen said with admiration. Although I don't believe a word, Aizen will never show it. Xiao Chong, I don't know why, but I suddenly feel like throwing up. Ba Qinliu jumped down from Chen's back and said to Chong. It's probably disgusting. Let's endure it for a while. Chong looked at Chen and Aizen with disgust. If there is nothing wrong with the vice captain of Aizen, leave first. This little girl, I will influence her for you, so that she will not attack anyone in the future. Then there is Captain Laochen. Aizen glanced at the little girl with a smile, then turned and left. After Aizen left, Chen glanced at the little girl, then looked at the corner next to him, and left with Chong and Ba Qinliu. Thank you. The blonde girl looked at Chen's back and shouted loudly. Chen didn't look back, and soon disappeared from the little girl's sight. Ranju, how are you? Are you injured? A little boy with silver hair rushed out from the corner. Silver, I'm fine, the god of death was so scary before. Matsumoto Ranju now thinks of Aizen's indifferent eyes, and feels terrified. Ichimaru Silver didn't speak, just clenched his fists. Why didn't you pay attention to that little girl? Although that little girl is still young, you can come to a lowly to cultivate it. Chong said suddenly. Hey Tilda, I didn't expect you to be quite evil. You actually let me play lowly to cultivate and despise you. Chong's face slightly yuhi, jumped on Chen's body, and then bit Chen's neck, biting and not letting go. With Ba Qinliu lying on his back and Chong hanging from his body, Chen was also helpless, stretched out his arms to hug Chong, and walked towards the distance. Behind Chen, Aizen followed. Aizen did not leave, but kept up with Chen, thinking that he was hiding very well, but Chen had already discovered it. Aizen came to Liuhun Street. Should it be for Bengyu? It seems that Aizen has already made Bengyu. The corner of Chen's mouth was slightly raised, and the figure disappeared instantly. Aizen, who followed behind, saw Chen and the others suddenly disappear, and her pupils shrank suddenly. Could it be that he found me? Aizen was very puzzled and looked around, but still no trace of Chen was found. Forget it, let's go back to Seraiti first. It seems that during this time it is best not to collect souls with the qualifications of the god of death. Aizen said to herself. Killing the souls of Liuhunji without authorization is also not allowed by the Gote 13th team. As for Chen, Lan Ran has completely raised vigilance in his heart, and he always feels that he knows something and will be more cautious in the future.